Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it happens to be for you. I hope you're doing very, very well. It is beautiful here. Another nice day. It is a little bit on the cloudier side today, I must say, but it is warm for sure. So, as always, plenty to talk about when it comes to Tottenham. But let's first touch on the World Cup. I've started to, I think, follow it a little bit more now with the games that are obviously at reasonable times. Porro has got through with Spain. I was pleased for him and also happy that Ratface didn't get through. Fernandez is one of those players that I can't stand him. I literally cannot stand him. So, yeah, for me, I feel that was a good thing that he didn't get through. Ronaldo definitely showing his age a little bit because of being as quite as sharp. But yeah, I think it was overall a very good game. I think that Spain actually deserved it. I don't think Portugal did quite enough to win it. So it was a bit of a match to watch that was quite kind of cagey in a way, I guess. But it was good. It was a good match to watch. So, yeah, let me know what you think about the World Cup, about them going through. Big up to Ryan, who was in here early doors. Good morning, Mia. How are you? I'm good, thank you. And how's the weather? Did say it's actually quite warm today. Cool thumbnail. Did one of the boys do it for you? No, I actually do my own thumbnails, Ryan. I have arguments with my AI over this. I get my AI, the chat GPT, to do them because obviously now it's so much easier. You can get what you want by just asking them. But because I'm quite specific about what I want, the amount of times they've had to make them and actually tell me that I can't do it anymore for now is ridiculous, because I'm so picky about what I want from my visual, like what I visualize for it. So yeah, I do my own through AI, but like I say, the AI don't always get it spot on. So I try to show them a bit of, like, say, a picture that I want specifically, or some sort of the way that I want it, if you get what I mean. So yeah, Chat GPT and me have arguments for sure about it. Good morning, Josh. I hope you're well. Pedro Porro has been looking really good this tournament. Excited to see him next season. I agree. People say that he isn't very good defensively, Josh, but I actually don't think he's that bad. Yesterday, I thought that he did perform well. Not that I think they had loads to do, but I think throughout the tournament he's actually been pretty good. I think he has been good. I like Porro. I think he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he is a passionate guy. I love that passion. I absolutely love that passion that Porro has. You should, the boys should help their mum out with that, Mia. Not really. I can do it myself. They don't. The thing about it is, right, like I said, I'm quite specific in how I visualize a thumbnail to be. So I'm quite picky with it. So I think that it's better that I do it, because I would be like, I don't like that bit, don't like this, don't like that, don't like the title, don't like that thing. Like, I am quite fussy. I'm quite fussy with my thumbnails. Not perfections, I wouldn't say, but I just, like, I think it's because I have a thing in my head that the way I want it to be. So yeah, it is what it is. I will read comments as they come through, guys, because obviously it is easy for me to just to talk about a subject, then get through to the comments. So I'm not ignoring anybody. Good morning, Julla. I hope you're well. Top mod in the house. So the first thing we're going to talk about is actually Croupy. So the offer apparently is, oh, sorry, I don't know what is going on this thing. There is an offer coming in, apparently being sent, sorry, to why is it timer off? There we go. It just put the timer on the thing. Apparently we are putting in an offer for Croupy, despite them saying he isn't for sale. So I don't really know if that means anything, because I've said this before. If a player is okay, and for you to basically put an offer in, that means that obviously they want to go. Apparently there's no problems with anything like the terms with actually Croupy, But the thing is that if they don't want to sell him, they don't want to sell him. There's nothing really we can do. Um, I don't know if the resolve will be tested if we give a decent offer on him or not. But there is the chance that they can't resist that amount. There is obviously amount, like I say, they will take. So I don't know if what we offer is enough, if they will be tempted or not. But apparently, that is what is going to happen. Is that we are going to put in an 85 million, I think it is. I think we're going to put in a bit more than we put in last. So I do think that that will maybe test them a little bit more with how they feel about selling him. Let me know what you think. Is he worth it? Is he worth that amount of money, being he's so young and has one good season? It's a little bit of a concern for me. Fair enough, me. If you want to do it that way, then you do it that way. Don't worry, I will always do it my way. As Frank Sinatra once said, money talks. Yeah, money does talk, July, as long as the player wants to come. I think that obviously, and as long as the club are willing to sell, we'll have to see if they actually do sell or will they want willing to sell. Give them 100 mil, that will do the trick. See, I don't know if he's worth that much, Ryan. That was my only concern. I don't know if he is actually worth that much. 75 mil went in last week, rejected, but we've gonna go in again with 85 mil. Yeah, that's what I read as well, Drilla, that we are going to go in with 85 mil. Do you think that would be enough to tempt them? Will that be enough? As I say, it's a difficult one because I'll get my water in a minute. I think that they they might see it as he's too valuable for them to sell at the moment. Let's, I mean, like I say, I think everybody has a price, but I don't know. We have to overpay Mia. I know, I get it, but I think on certain players, yes. But this guy is really young, and I don't know if we should really overpay by that much. I just don't. I don't know, Ryan. I feel that that is a bit too much to sort of overpay him. I don't know. I can't explain maybe clear enough, but I just think it's a risk, and I think it's a massive risk to spend that amount of money on. I think that someone like a Tonali, who is a more established player, fair enough. Even Fernandez, we did overpay somewhat, but not to that extent. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if he is worth it. No, I don't think so. They know we've got money. They'll pay hardball. Yeah, no, I agree, Drew. I think they know we've got money. They'll want to get as much as possible out of us. So yeah, I'm just going to get my water. Reach. Ah, yeah, I need a drink. Too much money. Too soon. I understand if it was a second or third season, not based on one. Yeah, that's my worry, Josh. That is a bit my worry. I think that based it on one season, I know people are saying this boy's going to be the a big player in the future. I just wonder if we've got time for that. We want the club to act like a big club, and that's what a big club does. I think that a big club does do things that obviously mean that they overpay to get a player on, but my question wouldn't be that. My question would be that I don't know if he is the player to do that with, because I think he is young. So whilst I'm happy for them to act like a big club for other things, other reasons, like with like different players, I just don't know if this is the guy. I just don't know if he is the guy to do that with. I really don't. Maybe like obviously he come good, and again I'll be proven wrong, but I just don't know about him. A big club always risks on very good young players, but they do. But in the position we're currently in, I think that we can't take too many risks because, as I said, if you haven't watched it already, Ryan, go and watch my video about how much we can spend in the future. Now, if we don't get into the Champions League next year, we won't be able to spend as much. Obviously, barring if we sell players. I just think that we have to remember that if he doesn't come good, we're going to be stuck with this kid that we paid a lot of money for. And then what? Like, I just think he's a risk because he is so young. I really do. Sorry, guys. I'm actually really thirsty this morning. Big up Aussie Ange to bring a bit of sunshine and positivity into the stream. I can't click on it for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. My computer's being daft. Hello, Mia. We can still sell remaining Deadwood out. Bids in for Vinny Jr., Oshman, and Harry Kane. Perez wants to offload Vinny Jr. so we can get him cheap. 300 million for the lot of them is achievable. Yeah, I think that we definitely need to sell our remaining dead wood for sure. We're going to speak about Romero in a moment, but I still, like I say, think that some of those players, Vinny Jr., I think that Vinicius Jr., sorry, no, okay, I'm getting my who the player we're in for. I feel like some of them are risky. I feel like they're a bit risky. I think that it is a risk with Krupi, and I think Osherman, I don't know if he'll come, but yeah, as I say, I do think that we need to sell some players for sure. 100% we need to sell some of these players, but I think that Krupi is probably a bit risky. Same as I feel like with Savinho. I feel like Savinho is a bit risky as well. But the thing is, right, is that I say it's a risk, right? That's my personal opinion. They could come in and De Zerbi could work wonders with them. He is, after all, paid to be a coach to make them better. Absolutely. 100% that they are coming in with the proviso that they feel that De Zerbi feels like that they are good enough, right? So I feel like that they could obviously come good. But I still feel like we can't keep taking too many of those risks. That's all. Big up to sorry, Ryan. Yeah, it's a big risk I'm willing to take this year. I mean, I don't know. Like I say, we've got to remember in the future about the future too. We can't just say go out and be ridiculous this summer, and then next summer, if it goes wrong, then we can't really help. We can't really fix it. Big up to Tottenham Ranger. I hope you're well. I hope you are well. How do you want to get in for Spurs, Mia? Oh, who do I want to get in? Me personally, I would go for Moosh and Gakpo. I think both are experienced players. I think they both got something to offer. And if we got Krupi, I would say that Krupi would be someone maybe you don't necessarily rely on to be the main striker, but I still think if Richie goes that we need one of those two. So, like I say, I don't know if he is the player. If we got two of them in 27-28 will be contenders for the Champions League, says Aussie Ange. Aussie Ange, I love that positivity. I really do. Yeah, as I say, the bid will be sent. It's obviously okayed by De Zerbi. He obviously feels he's offered something, so be it. Like that's like I say, that is what it is. I really do think though that we have to be mindful that it is still a risk, but that's just my personal opinion. Then we've also got news that we are offering for putting an offer in for Rafael Leao. This one again, I'm not sure about. I think that he is a bit of a patchy player. He also seems to be being like sort of champion to go, I think, by his manager. So this is what I've read. Tottenham are preparing to step up their interest in Rafael Leao following the positive discussions with the players' camp. With his World Cup campaign now over, Spurs are expected to intensify their pursuit in the coming days. Leao is understood to be open to the move, while Tottenham are prepared to put forward a strong package to try and reach an agreement. The proposal would be for a 5-year contract with an option of a 6-year. Yeah, see, again, I would probably say that I would loan him. I would want him on a loan. I don't know if I want him on a permanent, but I think he did absolutely nothing yesterday. I don't think that he always gives 100%, and that is concerning. I know that De Zerbi won't put up with that, but the problem is that if we find that he does do that, who is going to come in instead of him? So I don't know if that's, again, a bit of a risk. I don't know if it is a bit of a risk to bring him in on that amount of money and to put in a big offer for him. Gakpo is valued at 70 million. If we don't see him at that value, so I don't think we'll get him. Possibly Driller. The thing is, right, the way I see it is that people are valuing someone like Krupi so highly because he's young and obviously he's got potential. Gakpo, statistically, is actually pretty good. So I think 70 mil isn't actually that bad for somebody who can play as a striker and as a winger. I don't know. I just think that Gakpo is that bit more experienced, a bit older. So I personally would pay it for him and rather than to pay for Krupi and it be risky. But that's just me. Mia, in your lifetime, would you rather see Spurs win a Champions League or Premier League? Ooh, Aussie Ange, that's a difficult one. I think we've not won neither, but I would love to say that we had won the Premier League. I think that I would absolutely love to be able to say that because it's been chucked in our face so much that we've never won it. Because the leagues that we did win wasn't the Premier League. So, I think I would love to win the Premier League. Let me know what you guys in the chat. Would you rather win Champions League or Premier League? Get me Gakpo. I like Leao, but can't say he's a risk I'm not willing to say. I can say he's a risk I'm not willing to take. See, that's the thing. Leao is also a risk. I think that he's as much as a risk, really, as Krupi for me. Because I think that he is still young, so we don't know what he's to be in the future. Tonali and Leao link up again as they play together at AC Milan. Yeah, there is that link for sure, Drilla. There is that link. In my eyes, all players are a risk. Yeah, do you know what? They are all a risk. I completely accept that. But I think that some risks are higher than others, if you get what I mean. I think some are more risky than others. Hence why you pay more for someone who's got more experience, right? Because you're not paying for their potential, you're paying for what you have seen of them. So I honestly think that that it's less of a risk, although all players are a risk, 100%. Prem for me, yeah, Driller's the same as me. No, that wasn't the question, Ryan. The question is one of them. So I'm not accepting that answer. And Joe, what if you answer again in that stupid way when you're asked a question with one or the other, you're going to get a timed out. Okay, you're going to get a timeout. Don't have this nonsense in my chat, mate. A Champions League is the pinnacle of club football. Arsenal never won it, and I would attract more big foreign stars. Champions League is harder to win than any domestic league. Look it up. Joe, what though, was he, Ange? Whilst I think that's true, I think that players go to clubs for different reasons, not just because they've won Champions League. That is a massive draw. But I think just being winners is obviously big enough. Because look at City, they didn't win it for ages, and they still got really good players just by winning stuff, and like that's included in the Premier League. So while I get your point, I don't believe that to be true. I actually think that big players will go to big clubs that are winning clubs. I don't think that Champions League is necessarily, I don't know, like it is important. I can't maybe like, I'm not really explaining myself very well this morning, but I just feel like the Champions League is fantastic and obviously a really prestigious competition. But when you're in the Champions League, some of it does come down to luck of the draw. And with the Premier League, you've got to win it over a long amount of time to win those games, to get to winning the Premier League, unless you're Arsenal and you're obviously helped out with a little VAR here and a little VAR there. So honestly, I think that it's hard to win a Premier League, and I think that still does attract big players, in my personal opinion. I want both, but I'm not going to be made to choose one or the other. Well, that wasn't the question. We all want both, but that wasn't the question. That's like asking you if you want lemonade or cherry aid, and you say you like both. Yes, we like both, but what one do you actually want more? Pep won 6 Premier League, 1 UCL, and as at City. Sir Alex 13 Prems, 2 UCLs. Wenger 3 Prems and no UCLs. Jose 3 Prems, no UCLs. I could go on and on. UCL was much harder to win. I don't doubt that the UCL is harder to win hard to win, but it comes down to, like I say, luck of the draw. The thing is, if a competition's down to luck of the draw, then as hard as it is to win, you also have to obviously beat. I know you have to beat what's in front of you, but part of that comes down to luck of the draw of who you're going to get. So I think that again, it's hard to win because they're the best teams in Europe, but I also think that a competition that is luck of the draw in a way is also not what I like. So I can't. It's a top competition. I don't want anyone to think that I feel like any differently about that, but I just think the Premier League is a longevity situation where you've got to try to win it over a longer period of time. So therefore, it is hard to win. And Pep's won. Obviously, that's with you're counting Jose with Chelsea. You're counting a manager with one team, but there are managers who've won it with multiple teams. So I think that obviously that's a bit disingenuous using just one team to represent how many they've won. Let me have a look at something. Let me see. Give me like the top 10 of managers of how many they've won total. So, yeah. So Carlo Ancelotti's won it 5 times. He's the one that holds it the most. So, yeah, as I say, I think that you can count it like that. But as I say, I still think that a team to win the UCL is a big prestigious thing, but I think that winning the Premier League for me is something more I would like because that's our domestic league. I'll take Premier League unbeaten over Champions League though. Fair enough, Aussie Ange. If you want to ask me if I would what I would want, the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup more than the Carabao Cup more than the FA Cup. I mean, that wasn't the question, Ryan, honestly. I'm just not gonna answer you anymore, mate. Like, I'm asking you a simple question. It isn't complex. I'm not asking you to give me a scientific answer. I'm trying to ask you a question of this or that. Like, it's not complicated, Ryan. I just want to ask you to answer the question. So that is that on the Liao offer. So I read this up on a certain social platform that apparently Xavi is really pushing to try and come back sooner. So he wants to be back before the end of the year. Now that would be a massive boost to us to have Xavi back. I think he needs to be given more time, and I think that in maybe a system with Robert De Zerbi, I think that actually he would be pretty good. I think that he offers something a bit different. He's not quite the same, obviously, as a Madders, but honestly, my mouth, I don't know what this morning. I'm really thirsty. Must be something I ate because I'm normally not that bad. But yeah, I think that It would be good to have him back. I haven't actually checked uh, he's like a stats or whatever, but I feel like that he can do well. I think that he can, if he applies himself, and I think in a different system, the right system, I think that he will be pretty good. So I'm happy for seeing Xavi to come back be up before the end of the year. Like I say, it will help the team out massively to have a player like him who is a little bit more of a creative player. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Would you take Xavi coming back before the end? Oh, I've spelled it wrong. Trust me to spell it wrong, eh? Yeah, would you want him to come back for the end of the year? Do you think he'll get time if he comes back? And do you think that factors into maybe us not getting another player in that position? Although, like I said, you can play Krupi in that position as well. So interesting to see that he wanted. He's obviously pushing himself to come back. Yeah, all right. You didn't spell end correctly, so it is what it is. Oh, end of the year. Yeah, so I didn't spell end correctly either. Yeah, I know. All right. Do you know what? This morning I was trying to get this done quickly, so allow me, man. Like, people are so rude, so rude. I personally think Xavi will starting to pick up form and look good under De Zerbi. I think he just needs bedding period. Ericsson went through a similar situation when his first season. Yeah, I agree, Josh. I think he will come good. I want him to come back 100%. I think he offers something a bit different. I'm very happy that Xavi's coming back very soon. Yeah, I agree, Rodney. Xavi should come back in January, give him time to train. Yeah, I agree. No, you did. Yeah, I know. All right. Just leave it out, will you, Drillers? You're bullying me. You're picking on me. In history of the world football, only Zidane and Roberto Di Matteo have won more UCLs than a domestic league titles, proves my point. I just understand what you're like. People have an opinion. I don't think it really proves a point, because I don't think that really proves anything. I think, like I say, that the UCL is hard to win historically, but I don't think that the Premier League is also that easy to win. Like, we did have a period, obviously, with domination of like a Man United, and we had obviously we did have domination with City and United at points, but I don't think that it is actually that easy to win over a set amount of games. I think it is still a hard a hard thing to win. I really do. I don't think that it's not that easy. I think that people obviously see the people see it as obviously the prestige thing, and think that obviously the prestige of winning in Europe. And again, I understand that. I think that, like I say, you've got to have a bit of luck on your side when it comes to. You can have a bit of luck on your side when it comes to Champions League. Yeah, I'm getting onto that. Don't worry. Trophy's a trophy. Who cares what it is unless who cares what it is unless you're me? Yeah, Ryan, you're funny when it comes to cups. So indeed. So the next thing is going to be about Romero. How much do you guys think he is worth? Because according to reports, there has been interest in him, but it isn't for the amount that Tottenham want. So this is what I saw. Understand that Inter Milan did make an inquiry about Christian Romero last days. The club can confirm. Inter consider Romero as a dream target for centre-back and are willing to offer around €35 million package to sign Christian Romero from Tottenham this summer. However, Spurs are currently not willing to discuss the deal for that package. Tottenham want a package worth around 60 million euros to sell Christian Romero, no less than that right now. There's also concrete interest from Serie A and La Liga clubs, but not willing to pay the 60 million euro package right now. Premier League clubs are also interested, but Spurs prefer a foreign sale. Christian Romero wants to leave Spurs. Both parties will find a solution after the World Cup, one to watch in the next week. So 60 million euros is probably around 52, maybe something like that, million pounds. So I don't think that's actually that much, considering what we paid for him. I think that we have to try and get as much back as possible. I think that we can't just say, like, the amount they're offering, I think is a bit ridiculous, because that's in euros as well. It's about 51 million. So I think we can meet somewhere in the middle. 45 million, I think, is reasonable. I don't think that actually 35 million euros is actually really sensible at all. Like, I feel like that is actually a bit of a piss take of an offer, if I'm honest. I've got an answer for you on this one. A realistic on the outrageous on the realistic one is 60 million. And my outrageous one is 100 million. Fair enough. As I say, I honestly think that Romero's worth more than 35 million euros. I think that's just absolutely mental. Or 30 million euros. Like, any of those prices are crazy low. I know people want to get rid of him, but honestly, I think that is mad. Total value 60 million to 70 million euros. We get close to 50, 60 mil. Then, yeah, anything below, I wouldn't sell him. Yeah, Driller, do you know what? I just think that is an absolute pee take of a value. I think that people who want to sell him because they want him gone, I understand it, but I just feel like that is a ridiculously low price. And I don't think we should let him go for that lower price. I really don't. I think that is, like I say, taking a little bit of the old mick. I think, what are you even doing offering that amount of money? So, yeah, for me, it's a no. I don't think that we should be selling him for that much at all. I really don't. I think that actually we should be thinking about trying to get back as much as possible for him. 60 million is a starting point if others are valuing 80 million plus. Yeah, I get you, Corey. That's the thing, in it, because the fact is that other players are going for so much money that I feel like us to just devalue him and sell him for that amount of money is just silly. I feel he will get offers after the World Cup, and I think we'll get a decent amount for him back for sure. I don't think that we are going to sell him at that lower price, even if he wants to go, and even if people say that he needs to go, which he does need to go before anyone says anything. He does need to go because he wants to go. I think he's had his time at Tottenham. I still don't think we should undervalue him just to kind of ship him out. He isn't one of those. I feel like with a Sarr, yes, but with a Romero, no. I think he's got value. I want him gone mere, but like I said, 60 million to 100 mil. Yeah. I just think, like, these clubs are taking the absolute pee, aren't they? They're taking the absolute pee, right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, who are you to offer that amount of money? Like, that's just ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Do you remember when Alan Shearer was the most expensive player bought for 30 million in any league back then? Yes, I do remember, Corey. I remember the big hoo-ha about how much he was going for. Mad, isn't it, to think? Absolutely mad. Yeah, that is crazy talk. That it was that amount, but obviously inflation also. That's obviously a thing. But yeah, to me, mad. I don't think we should be selling out our players just for such a low amount of money. Honest, I can't understand it. We need to get some of this money back. As I say, it does affect our future spending as well. So if we don't get good value for these players, then obviously we're going to end up paying for it next summer. So yeah, I think that is obviously it is an issue. Um, yeah, so as I say, I feel that we need to wait it out a little bit. I do feel like we need to wait it out. We've got 100 million in, then our net spend comes down nicely. Yeah, I agree. As I say, Ryan, it does affect how much you can spend. So I do think that we need to like obviously not jump the gun and be like, let's just like get this amount, like a low amount for him because we want him out. Um, yeah, so yeah, like I say, not for me. Anyone obviously can have a difference of opinion. I think that it's not really what I personally would want to do. F me, how times inflations have changed, indeed. When a bang average players like Gray are worth 40 mil, yeah, I get you. I get that you're feeling about Gray. He doesn't obviously make his price. The valuations obviously dictated by the market and the clubs. So it is obviously a one of those, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, I think that you can't really say that he dictates that. But yeah, I understand. I think in the market now, it's absolutely mental. It's mental. It is honestly this I think like it has gradually done that when you look at how much some of the players have gone for. I think that honestly, it's now at a stage where you think, is this ever going to go down again? Are they ever going to go back to being reasonably priced? Probably not. When you look at some of the players like when they were going to PSGs, etc., for ridiculous money. Is it Neymar? Was it Neymar that went? Or one of them went there for like some stupid amount, and you're just, yeah, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. So I just, like I say, I wouldn't personally sell. I personally wouldn't sell any of our players for low prices. I wouldn't. Um, 40 million max. He's done to get a bigger and been problem, but modern market 65 mil. Yes, I've changed my mind, but who wants a problem overrated player? Yep, I understand, Dan, and like I said to you before, I wouldn't. Someone that's a bit more worth a bit more. I think you've got to try and get a bit more. But the money they're offering us, Dan, it's ridiculous. I think that we can't be we can't be getting selling our players at just silly prices. I have got a guest. I have got the Queen of you.
Oh,
How you doing?
yeah, I'm all right. Thanks for the invite. I really
No
appreciate that.
problem.
Yeah,
Um, oh, yeah, so you're agreeing with me. My bad. I told you this morning, I'm tired, you know. I don't know what I'm doing this morning. So we're talking about Romero, Ellie. How
yeah.
much do you think he's worth?
I reckon at least 50 minimum. Minimum.
Yeah,
Because he's a World Cup winner. He's a Euro winner. He's a fantastic defender. You take out the rashness, right? And all the good games, people forget, don't they, very quickly, all the fantastic games that he's had for us as well. Yeah, and he saved our bacon quite a lot of times. Yeah, and in the big moments, he's been there for us. Yeah, especially in that Europa Cup final. He was the man of the match. And he's very rarely let us down, but people always jump on him. I don't know whether it's because he's Argentinian. I don't know whether because he's better looking than everybody.
well, you know,
No, there's a bit of jealousy there. But when you look at his playing career, he's played a lot of games for us.
yeah,
He hasn't missed that many. And other players have missed more because they've been injured, but he stayed fit for more or less the whole of his career. he's not been injured that much where he's missed like a big chunk of the season, you know. So I think 50 to 60 million would be a good call for his, you know, for what we get for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? Because I missed
yeah.
the first part where you were talking about him.
Yeah, I think that probably I wouldn't take any less than I would take maybe 45, 50 at a minimum, but I would
Yeah,
try to get 60 because I think that that's a
yeah,
reasonable amount. Ellie, Julia saying big up Auntie Ellie.
yay.
Um, big up, big up. Yeah, I think that um, Dan here saying one game out of every 8 game is not good enough. I think that one game out of 8 is probably overstating it a little, Dan. I think that
Yeah,
he
that's a
is
bit too much.
probably better than what I think people have a perception of him. And this isn't me just sticking up for him because of the way I think about him, because this is me purely about football. I think that
Yeah,
actually people perceive him a certain way and that sticks, that mud sticks with people, so then they notice a lot more things about him because they're sort of looking for those things. Maybe what I kind of did with Hoybier, I must admit, that's
yeah,
obviously, I think that's human nature, right?
yeah,
So
of
I do
course.
I do think that that happens a lot with Romero, and because even people who say things like, oh, but he always gets red cards and injured around the time of Argentina playing, that's not factually true. I looked it up,
Right?
that's not actually correct. So when people keep saying that, that's not true. That's just their perception because of how they feel. So it just shows you how perception can be seen, right? How it can
Yeah,
be, how people can see things
true.
differently. So
And it's their rhetoric, Mia. It's their rhetoric to support their argument. Yeah, so they'll pick on the things that they think he's weak at and the things that they think he does at certain points when Argentina are playing. And it'll suit their narrative, won't it? So, but really, they're not looking into it and getting the real facts, like you said, right? And also, what I notice about Romero, I hardly see anybody praise him for the good things that he's good at. Yeah, because
yeah,
his passing, Sava done a show, right, where he showed that Romero's passing is the 17th best in the Premiership out of all the creative players, all the strikers, all the ones that are, you know, noted for their passing. And he was 17th. That's very good. And he was the top defender for passing in the league, right? So that's strong points of his game. Right, what I think they notice as well about Romero is he takes his time when he's coming out with the ball. I personally, I don't mind that. I like it because he's thinking of where to pass the ball. He's not just passing it willy nilly. He's a very thoughtful player and he wants to make that killer pass. And more often than not, he does. But with our strikers, because they're so poor, right, and their movement is not up to scratch, he waits even more. Whereas when we had the better strikers in Sonny and Kane, you see Romero, he was probably in the top 5 of passers because they would make the movement because they're intelligent strikers, but our strikers are not. So you can't always put the blame on one player for slowing down the play. Do you see what I mean?
yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I definitely think that a lot of it is put onto him because, like I say, people seem to like to have be very critical of him, like you said, and not actually look at the things that are positive with him. Like,
yeah,
see when we were, I can't remember what game it was, and we were just struggling. He basically went up front and scored a goal. Like, he really is like. He is a winner. He wants to win games of football and he will do anything basically to do that. And he has done that for us in the past. He has
yeah,
stepped up. So I do think that a lot of stuff does get said about Romero. He cost
yeah.
us like times erratic performance, inconsistent, terrible
Of course.
captain. Thinks the club owes him something. Yeah, great passer, but end of pitch, no effort to get back. He's a problem. I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, if he's trying to score a goal and he's trying to basically be up front, he does try to get back, but obviously other players need to cover him because he's trying to help out at the front of the pitch. So I don't think he doesn't try. I think that it's like it isn't easy to run all the way back, you know. So That's what we kind of had Mickey for. Mickey obviously
Yeah,
used to help out with the running back part, but yeah, I think that you're right with some of the stuff you say. I do think he's erratic, and I do think that he can be inconsistent, but I don't
yeah,
think his inconsistencies are as much as maybe what people say, if you like. Big up to Marianne, 2 marks. Raid, big up to the 2 marks for
yeah.
bringing everyone over. Yeah,
Yeah,
um,
I think it's a bit harsh from Dan. Dan, I love you, man, but not when you say no effort to run back. I don't agree with no effort. Sometimes, like I saw him against Forest when he lost the ball and he didn't run back. Yeah, that's one incident, but I've seen Romero charge back many a time to help the defence because he's a born winner of the ball. He wants to win the ball, right? And he's over well sometimes he's overzealous, but it gets reported in a way that he always does it, and he doesn't. He might do it once or twice in a game, right? And sometimes he'll get sent off, but he's had 6 red cards in his career, so he's not as bad as people paint him. But I get the point that that he can be a bit overzealous with the tackling, right? But I think it's his inner instincts, right? And sometimes people say, oh, he's got a screw loose, right? Possibly, but I think with his screw loose, it's because he's so competitive. I think that's in his nature, right? That's his nature, and he wants to win the ball, and he does go in hard sometimes. You think, what are you doing, Romero? Right? Because there was a period, remember when there was a period under Conte where he didn't get a yellow card for ages?
yeah, yeah,
And he was really playing well, but he wasn't playing as well as when he's got that aggressive side to him, like in terms
yeah,
of the amount of points you would give him for his performance, regardless of the rashness. Yeah, because you see him do things in the game that were really brilliant, and I think he gets a bad press, Romero, and I think it has got something to do that he's Argentinian as well. Because
maybe.
I've seen plenty of English players just as bad in my 45, 50 years of watching football where I knew about football. Because I can't count myself. Before I was 10, what do you know before you're 10? When you're about 11, 12, 13, that's when you start understanding more about football. But when you go into your teenage and 20s, that's when you understand. And then when you're in your 30s, you're fully up on football, aren't you? You should be anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you start looking at the game much more differently when you're older. When you're a kid, you're so excited, aren't you? And you think everyone's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's true. I talked to, I can vouch for that because my nephew, he's 11 now. He's coming up to 11. So yeah, he's very different. Obviously, the way he talks about football with the cynicism and some of the views that we have because we
Yeah,
understand football differently, right? So
yeah.
um, Dan E saying, I don't care any defender in caps. He's a defender and cost us many times for it, but you ignore that defender. I think he's trying to get a
I,
point
I
across.
don't think. Of course, he's a defender, but I don't think he's cost us as much as some people paint it that he has. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
Yeah, yeah.
that he
No, I
hasn't
agree.
cost us. I'm not saying that he hasn't cost us, but I think they people go OTT on the amount of times they think he's cost us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree with that. I do think that people, like I said, they say things that are actually not true, and they try and bolster their dislike of him by saying those things. So I think
Yeah.
that some things can definitely be true about him, but I think some things are way overstated. Like 100%. Um,
Yeah, I think in
send me
Dan's
the link. Yeah,
defence, I think.
I've sent it to you.
Yeah, I think in Dan's defence, he does like Romero because he does like that aggressive footballers who go for the ball. But I think with Dan, I think because he's seen him do a lot of rash tackles, and
Yeah,
he chalks them up in his head, and then sometimes, not so much with Dan, but a lot of other fans, they will go OTT about Romero and they get very personal about him as well, which I don't like.
Yeah, no, getting personal about any player or any person is just not necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah, not at all. These new links from Mawani, don't worry, Spurs King, big up to you. We are going to talk about it, and we will come on to that. Dan does want to come; he's going to come on in a minute, and he can talk about,
yeah,
go back to the Romero thing. But Spence, there's been links, Ellie, for us to
yeah.
possibly be selling Spence. What are your thoughts on this? Would you keep him or sell him?
I'm in two minds about Spence because really we haven't really seen him a lot in his preferred right wing back position. All right. And when he plays on the left, he's got to check onto his right and it disturbs his game because I know there's a lot of players who can play with both feet, but he's not one of them. Right. He has to check back and it really does disturb. And I see a lot of other people say he doesn't build relationships, down that wing, right? Well, because it's not his natural position. And you'll see him against for England the last 17 minutes. He was actually on the left, but he was just defending. There was no attacking from any England player in that last 17, 20 minutes or so. So I think I'd love, because Porro's there, he's not going to get a look in, is he? Because Porro is seen as like a mini star boy, even though he was terrible last season, he put credit in the bank from when he first started, right? So he's not going to get a look in. So maybe for his own career, it's best for him to move on. But I would love to see him play a whole season on the right, but he's not going to get it, is he? So we're not going to see it.
Probably not. Probably not. Big up, Paul. I hope you're well. For me, with Romero one, he is a marked man in the Premier League. Any bad tackle he does seems to be seen as 10 times worse. He's a good player, but I don't think he's feasible to keep him as he'll get targeted by refs. Yeah, apparently referees do their research beforehand. So, I mean, that just shows you that they could have some sense of a bias before if they do research a player that he's already rash. So that is obviously a possibility for sure. Big up to you, Ben. I hope you're well this morning. So yeah, I think that for me, Spence is a great player on his day at times with defending. Going forward, not so much. I think even on his right side, I don't know, questionable for sure. But yeah, I do think that if it is a possibility to sell him, I think that the way that he is as well, big up Dan, the way that he is as a person, like with his attitude, I just think, yeah, I would sell him personally. Benji saying Spence is fantastic utility player. At one stage, he was untouchable in our team, and I think people tend to forget that. For me, he's worth keeping hold of. I don't think he was ever untouchable, in my opinion. I've never seen
Yeah.
anything of Spence where I think he's untouchable, but that's just personally my opinion. Right, Dan, how you doing?
Oh, been a long, horrible night trying to sleep in this bloody heat, but it is what it is.
Oh, no.
I used to, all right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I'm not bad. I don't sleep either, Dan. Horrible.
No, it's been horrid lately.
Yeah.
So we get to the Romero point then?
We'll
Go
go back
on
to
then,
well, we'll
Dan.
go back to Romero. Go on then.
Go on.
Right. People talk about the goals he scored for us. Okay, yeah. That made people forget about the goals he conceded in each game as well. That's all it was. He is a defender. What don't people understand about a defender? Okay, if you get forward and score goals, that's a good thing. Defending. How many times I can show you videos here, yeah? I'll get them up on YouTube for you. I'll bring them on the channel for you. Go ask Savra about it as well. He's got plenty of it. Do you know what? I'll call Savra and get the video straight off of him. How many times he has been up the other end of the pitch and he never seems to bother to come back? Yeah, okay. You see him do it a couple of times. Yeah, well bloody done, mate. You're a defender. Get back and defend. Now, if we're 2-1 down, 3-1 down, and or 2-1 down, and last minute we need that goal. Fine. I can totally understand that, yeah? But he does it so many times. He gets up the other end of the pitch and then he just jogs back. You see him literally just jogging countless times. And Sava has got countless videos on him doing it. Not just 3 or 4. He has got plenty. He thinks the world owes him something. He thinks the club owes him something because he won the World Cup. Or should I say Messi won the World Cup for Argentina? Because if it wouldn't have been for Messi, Argentina wouldn't have been bloody near it. And you two both know it. It's not that anyone's got a problem with him because he's bloody Argentinian. That's like stating that someone's got a problem with someone because of their colour. That's exactly the same sort of statement. That's bullshit. When it comes down to it, when your captain gives you nothing in the aspect of captain the club, yeah, captain the team, gets lazy on the pitch, go check it. Go check how he does on the pitch. Yeah, go check his stats. Go check his rating at the end of the game. He'll have a 10, he'll have an 8, and then he'll have a 3 and a 5 and a 2 and a 9 and a 2 and a 5, and it just keeps going on. But the reason he gets some of his stats is purely because he scores goals. And as a defender, he does score goals, but then you still got to defend, and he don't do it. He don't get back. He don't make the offer to get back and defend. He's erratic on the pitch. He makes some stupid tackles that you wouldn't even expect an 18-year-old to make on the pitch, like literally as stupid as that England player done the other day. But the thing is, with the England player, it was unlucky. Now, the bit I'm going to agree with you on, yeah, he does get picked on. He does. But you two are the ones stating here he's basically a world-class player.
I never said that.
No,
hang on, he's a World Cup
that.
winner. When you start saying someone's a World
that.
Cup winner, when you're saying someone's a World Cup winner, you are basically saying they are a world-class player, top of the top. That is the easy way of saying it.
No,
because
it's just,
if someone,
it's just
because
the
if someone
world,
will
it's the
he's
truth.
a World
He's
Cup winner.
He's a World
It's
Cup winner.
stating-
It doesn't make
Yes.
him world class.
But when you are
That's
stating
different
someone
if you
is a
say he's world
okay,
class.
okay, but when you are stating someone is a World Cup winner, you are basically saying they are top of the top. You are basically saying they are top of the range. Okay, not world class, but extremely bloody good. He has cost us countless times because of his attitude. Another point as well. A couple of people seem to love him off for what he went and done, yeah? I like what he done in calling out the club because it calls out the club. But let's be honest here. Who is that little mug to sit there and go call out his owners? He's under their contract. Let's get this right. He's their bitch. He's the job. They're the ones who pay him 200 grand a week. Shut your mouth and captain the bloody team, which he doesn't do. But then we also like what he done because it called out the club, which we all wanted. But it's not his place. Be quiet. Do your bloody job. And then when he goes and preaches off like that, and then the dickhead goes and gets sent off in the next bloody game, how can you take that seriously?
Yeah, no, I get that. Like I say,
After all of that,
I think that for me, I didn't really like the calling out of the club. I think his frustration because he's been promised something. He's probably spoken about it with them, and he just maybe got to the end of his tether and then just thought it'd come out of it. I'm not trying to say it's right or wrong, and some people championed him for it because of their own agenda and their own reasons. But the fact is that I'm not saying that it's neither wrong or right to do that. So for me,
it's blatantly wrong. It's blatantly wrong. You do not do that to your boss. You don't do that to your boss, Ellie, because you lose your job.
Yeah, you have to do it in private.
Yeah, you can't go and do
you
that.
have to do it in private.
We all like what he did. A lot of us like what he did purely because he called out Enoch, yeah? I agree with that in the aspect of, yes, someone finally spoke. Yeah, so did Conte. And he only did that because he was bloody leaving, yeah? But we all like that. We all like that because people have got a fetish for what Daniel Levy was at the time. When people maybe need to start checking up this facts, that this club is only in a situation what it is at the moment where it can spend money because of Daniel Levy. But people go and slate him off all the time and despise him all the time. So if people are going to go despise someone like that and slate him off all the time because he's held us back, blah, 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 then you can also go and slate off a player that has basically done exactly the same for us. His job is to be a defender at Tottenham Hotspur and a captain. Not to go and speak out and throw his toys out the bloody pram. We all like the fact that he called out Enoch, but it's not his bloody job.
Yeah, I get that, Dad. Do you know what I find strange though? Right, so Romero is this sort of character that a lot of people don't like, his character and the way he performs on the pitch. Yet the club under Thomas Frank make him captain. It just doesn't weigh up. It doesn't
It
weigh
does.
up. Would you put a captain who's so decisive and has already called you out in the past? Not he called them out twice while Thomas Frank was the manager, but he'd called them out before, right?
Yeah.
And they make him the captain, and it seems like
I-
everything's rosy behind the scenes, but then he comes out with more, and then things are not rosy between him and the owners. So I just don't get why you would make him captain. It's
I'll give you the
it's
I'll give you the answer.
contradictory to what they're doing to him in a way, and what he's doing to them.
I'll give you the answer. What I believe, because this is all personal beliefs. None of us can really give it the facts, can we? Why they did it.
No,
Now, when he called out the club before, he'd done it in a very intelligent way. He'd done it in such a way, like, how should I describe it? I can make comments on here, which I can actually cover myself on. Someone can say to me, that comment meant this and that. I can say, no, it didn't. That's just your brain thinking that. I can cover my ass with the comments I make, if you get where I'm coming from, you two, which I'm sure you do. And he basically did the same sort of thing. And the only thing he actually called out was the fact that we've got a lot of injuries, and it does the medical team don't seem to help. Yeah. That's a bit different to going and calling out the owners of the club and the whole club who employ him. Yeah. You couldn't get more disrespectful to your owners if you tried. And whether we like Enoch or not, whether we like Daniel Levy or not, whether we like Lange or not, they are the ones that employ him. Now, with the point of being a captain, this is where it frustrates me so much with this player. Because on his day, I think he's as good as pretty much any defender out there. On his day, I think he is a quality player. I think he's also got captain materials in him that I like in a captain, like a Roy Keane.
yeah,
Patrick Vieira, one of the best captains ever. Like him or not at Arsenal, one of the best there's ever been.
and John Terry as well.
He played at Inter, so I've got the right to like him. Yeah, John Terry. We'll name another one. Tony Adams. We'll name another one. Gatasu. We'll name another one. Gary Mab. No, I'm not going to put Gary Mabbott in that bit because he weren't that sort of captain. Yeah, but you get where I'm coming from, and he has got them signed. He has got them signs to him of that. He's got the bollocks to be a captain. But then you go on the other side of it, and no, Maldini weren't that sort of captain. He's not the sort of captain I'm on about. Excellent captain, but he's not in the category that I am talking about. I want an aggressive captain. But when it comes down to the crunch, on the pitch, what's he do? He says nothing. He hardly does anything. I want a captain, but if he thinks he's got the big enough bollocks to run his mouth off about the club and be a hard man on the pitch and going with the tackles and that, when your players ain't doing the job, for me, the captain is basically the manager's second word, but on the pitch. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, like Steve Perriman did. Yeah.
Steven Gerrard as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does nothing. He don't even perform. He don't
it's
even
true, because you don't see him communicate.
He don't even perform good enough on a consistent basis for people to look at him and say, yeah, he's leading us. Does he go up to any of the players, basically? Okay, he's not going to slap him in the face, even though that's what I would like him to do sometimes. But it just don't work like that. And say, get your act together. You get up there. You get up there. Listen to the manager on the side and then preach it on the pitch. No, he doesn't. He is a terrible captain in that aspect. But he's also got captain material to him that I would love in a captain. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation for me with him. When it comes to the crunch on the pitch, you've got to perform and you've got to do it by, what's the phrase for it? You've got to do it by example as well. And he doesn't.
Yeah, because I remember Thomas Frank talking about him, and he's basically tried to cover his arse, tried to cover Romero's arse by saying we've had eternal talks when he came out twice calling out the club. But they still didn't strip him of the captaincy. Now, that for me is brushing it under the table. Because if you really feel that he's been repentant, right, but then he comes out again and does it after you've had the talks with him, it's double standards for the club, and that's where our club are failing. Not just him. Not him. They're failing our club, but they're failing us as fans as well. Because if you look at it, even the fans that are staunchly Enoch out, would probably be on your side over it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you pointed out that he doesn't communicate, and he's not strong enough on that aspect of a captaincy. He might be strong as a player and he's aggressive, yes, but he's not a communicator on the pitch.
Exactly.
So I do get that
And
aspect
you need
of it.
that. Other thing with the
You
club
do.
side of it as well, this is where it embarrasses the club even more and just shows how much. Let's put it this way,
Weakness.
yeah? Yes, let's put it this way. Even forget about the club itself. What he basically went and done was also disrespecting the manager. And we all know Thomas Frank was a load of.
Oh, God.
Yeah, when it come down to it, the man just had no bollocks on him, yeah? He was too nice for his own good. He knew what he was doing, but he was too nice. But what would Alex Ferguson have done? What has Alex Ferguson done?
He would have thrown something at his head.
He would have battered him and
He would have
booted him, and he
battered
would have
him.
took his captaincy, and he would have never, ever, ever, ever seen a Man United shirt again. Purely because of a statement he made about the club. Even if it wasn't aimed at Fergie, he would have done him completely.
Yeah.
And Fergie done it with countless players. He even admits in his ball. He also admits in his autobiography that by kicking Jaap Stam out, it was the biggest mistake he ever made. But he had to do it because Jaap Stam started running his mouth off, and he wanted the respect in the dressing room. He had to be the Don. He had to be the main man. When Romero can go on the pitch and do what he does and get no punishment for it off the club, when Romero can do what he does off the pitch and get no punishment for it off the club, and still keep his captaincy, and then basically other things other players did to managers and that, it just shows how much of a weak football club we are. Now, I believe we are one of the most powerful football businesses out there. But as football, we are weak. As football, we are the biggest underachievers on this planet. We are pathetic for the size of our business. And then to go and have a little prick like that, run his mouth off like that, and they go and do nothing about it, and the manager goes and does nothing about it, you couldn't really get more insulting to the football side of the club if you tried, in my opinion.
So I'm going to say one last thing about it. I think the fact that he is such a divisive character for the fans just shows you that obviously he has got something about him that clearly divides opinion, because there is something there that obviously makes people feel that way about him. So while I'm in a bit more in the middle, like I say, with him, I don't think I'm maybe not as far with as some people are. And that is nothing to do with his looks at all. This is just purely football.
Don't lie, Mia.
No,
He
it's
is
not.
gorgeous, though.
I can
know,
separate.
I was being sarcastic.
I can separate the two. But the fact is that he does good things, and he definitely does do stupid things that are bad, and that you're just like, what the hell are you doing? So I understand it completely why people feel that way. And if he's divisive, I don't think he's good to be at the club. So he needs to get gone. I think he's done his time at Tottenham, and I think that he needs to go. Because I think that's best for Tottenham and best for him to go. So that, I'm never opposed to that. I've never said I don't want him not to go. I said that he needs to go now, because I do think he has had his time. But I will always thank him for his part in the Europa League final, because I think he stepped up massively for us in such an important part of the. Obviously, there's such an important place, so he played his part in such an important game. So for that, I'll always be grateful that he did step up in that moment to do it. And I know it's only a moment, but that was one that won us a trophy. So I'm grateful for that.
Standing up when you choose to is not good enough. And if anything, that is even more disrespectful. Oh, do you know what? I can be bothered to play today. oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered to play today. I'll just go and do what I want out there. To me, that makes him even more as a person you don't want at the club. Other problem we got with him, Mia, is the price we sell him for. Now, I do change my opinion on this because the market out there is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Was Tonali worth 100 million? No chance. But it's the modern day market. Was Fernandez worth 85 million? No chance. But it's just the modern day market. It's just the way it works. Is mayonnaise worth £5 bloody 50 in Sainsbury's? No, it's bloody not. But it's just the bloody market. Now, for the way he plays, it's bloody expensive. For the inconsistency, for the way he plays, inconsistent, for his attitude and everything about him, he shouldn't be a penny over 35 million. But the way the market works, you're going to sit there and say he's 60 million. It's like the other debate I've had with Ben Van der Ven. If we was to sell him, is he £100 million player? No chance. The only reason the fella's even got a double name for himself is because he can run. He's a good defender, but he's nothing special. He can't even head the ball properly, for God's sake, for a 6'3" person. The thing that gives him his name is his pace, but he is a good defender. But in modern day revenue, you're going to get 80, 90 million for him. So I'm stepping back on Ronaldo being worth 35, 40 million. He is worth 35, 40 million. But on the modern day market, it is a 60 million job. And that's even bringing the price down. And that is because of his attitude and everything else. But the other problem with it, Ellie, is if you owned a club or you was the manager, whatever, either of you two, Mia, would you genuinely want a player like Romero at your club?
I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of manager. Certain managers don't mind a bit of a Romero. Like, they might not mind it.
Give me one. Give me one.
Do you think that a Conte wouldn't mind someone like a Romero?
No,
again?
Conte wouldn't part with him doing stuff like he does.
But he did at Tottenham because he did at Tottenham.
He had no other options, Mia. I didn't say the way he played and he's already at the club. I said, if you was a manager, would you go out? Okay, let me phrase it different. If you was a manager, would you go and buy Romero with the problem there was? And by the way, Conte and Romero did not like each other. But Conte had no other options. He was at Tottenham and that was all he had. Right. He's not at your club at this moment in time. Would either of you two want to go out and buy Cristiano Romero?
No.
I mean,
not at this stage of his career.
Job done. Point proven.
With Romero, what I would say, right, when he was under Conte, he had his best period because I think Conte's that strong a man that he got him under control for quite a chunk of that season. He didn't really pick up a lot until we played AC Milan and he got that red card. Then he lost it. And then other than that, I think that was his best period that I saw Romero play.
I can agree because
we had shit defenders playing alongside him.
Yeah. What you're basically saying, Mia, is you had a man who could swing a bigger one, who was a bigger boss than him, basically. And that's the sort of person Romero needs there. Thomas Frank. Yeah. I don't want to keep going back to managers, but you've got to describe something, haven't you? Yeah,
he's very conservative.
Who is going to be intimidated by Thomas Frank?
Nobody. He's too soft.
And I feel what a captain needs is a bit of intimidation in him, a bit of it at least. De Zerbi, he's got it. He's got that Italian attitude. Okay, he's a poor man's Conte at the moment because he hasn't won nothing, He hasn't really done anything big out there. But he's a young manager. He's blatantly Italian. He's got Italian blood in him, just like me and a couple of others. And he's quite fiery for it. He ain't going to take no shit. And he's the sort of person who's got the bottle to say, what did you just say? What did you just get off the pitch and get out my face now?
Yeah.
Whereas Thomas Frank was the sort of one who'd probably still give you a kiss. Now, the only manager I can think out there that might give him a chance is Simeone. But one thing, if you notice about players Simeone gets, not one single one of those players would even look him in the eyes properly, let alone disrespect him.
Yeah.
Romero would at one stage be too gobby for his own good. He has proven it time and time again. Yeah. So, like I said
I think that's the only club
you
that
two would
go to.
Yeah. But you two would no. That's more for his style of play. That's more for his
Yeah,
style of play, Ellie. I'm saying of what manager would actually go out and buy him. Nobody can give me an answer of a manager that would actually want him. Possibility Simeone, but that's only because of the style of football. Not the
yeah.
type of manager Simeone is. If you actually check out on him, he wants his bods to shut up and do their work. He don't want people arguing with him. Yeah, he runs it off bigger. And you two who have defended him the whole time have just gone and said to me, you would not buy him at your club.
I think
Not
that
defending him. I'm just pointing out that
No,
he's
you've
got good
defended him.
attributes. No, I've
You've,
just
you've
pointed
defended
out.
him.
I've pointed out that he's got good attributes and he's got bad attributes. That's not defending him. I'm actually pointing out what you've just said, but in a different way. That's all. Because
yeah,
You have
I
both sat here
remember
and
games
defended
that
him.
he's played well, right? And you've come in with your bomber saying that you've got Sava's videos where he's not tracked back. Fair dues.
Sav has done
Fair
plenty of
dues. I
videos of
never
it.
once said that he's the perfect defender. What I'm saying, he does get a lot of rhetoric against him that sometimes is not true, and there are cases where it is true. I've not actually defended him. I've said that that he's got good and bad in him because he has.
Mhm.
There's been
But
times
you
where I've
have
been
said,
so frustrated with him, I've screamed
Ellie,
my mouth off.
you two have just sat here and went for about 15 minutes while I just got up and was watching it and stating about why you think people don't like him, why people have got a problem with him. He gets more stick than he deserves. He does A, B, C, D on the pitch.
Sometimes he
That is
does.
just
That's
that.
why.
Well, that's defending someone then, Ellie. You're
yeah. But
defending
you
him.
said, but you
Really,
did, yeah. But
we're
didn't
just
you say the
pointing out
same?
that they shouldn't do that. They
But Dan,
shouldn't
didn't
give
you
him
say the
so
same
much.
thing? You came on and said, actually, if I'm going to give him his dues, obviously he does get probably, like when we see a player do a tackle and people say if that was Romero, he would have got sent off for that. So that just proves obviously that is true. It's not like we're not saying it. That's what we're
We've
saying is that
actually
kind of,
pointed out what you've
yeah,
done, but in a much more ladylike way. Maybe you're a fella. You came in guns blazing, right? But we did say that he's rash, that he's got red cards, that
yeah, absolutely.
he can be
Okay.
he can be loose with his tackling, and that he doesn't run back sometimes. It's just maybe you're hearing what you want to hear, Dan. Right? At the end of the
Oh,
day,
yeah.
I just feel that Romero gets some stick that's not undeserved. That doesn't mean I'm defending him because sometimes it is OTT.
Do you
Sometimes it
know what?
is. You're fairer. You are fairer with the way you've analysed him, and I'll give you your dues. You have pointed out things that he's really weak at, like heading the ball, for example. Yeah, because he is weak in the air.
Do you know what? Fair play, Ellie. I'll step down on that one. I'll take that comment back.
There we go.
That's what I like about you, Dan. You're a
Yeah,
good
no, it
listener.
does.
You're a good
Yeah, no,
listener.
it is true.
No, they're fair points. I can't argue with the points you made. So if I can't
Yeah.
argue with it, what's the point of trying to argue with it? Fair points. I'll take my comment back. You are right there. You have defended him, but you have also said some of the problems about him as well. You might not have gone into the depth I did, but you did also talk about his bad points. Last bit I will mention on
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
is he does get yellow cards and red cards as such. Not, and I've stuck up with Mira on this one and said a while ago he doesn't actually get as many red cards as people think, but he does actually. He's been labelled. He's been judged. He's got mud on his back, and the problem is mud sticks, and it will never, ever, ever, ever go
Yeah.
away. It's like a woman in. I have to use this example. It's like a woman in a certain area that's got about too many times. Now all of a sudden she's become all straight and nice over the past 5 years, but she's still got that reputation, and she's never going to lose that reputation unless she moves up north. That's just the way the world works. Like it or lump it, and only he has earned that name for himself. You do not get in anything in the world. You do not get a stereotypical name for no reason. Everything gets a stereotypical name because they earned it one way or another, whether it was 200 years ago or whether it was a year ago. Everything gets a stereotypical name because they done something. Is it fair? No. Is life fair? No. What do I keep saying? It's a dog-eat-dog world. He put that on himself and made life harder for himself. I think he gets more stick on the pitch off the refs than's fair, but he earned it for himself.
Yeah, that's why I like what you said, and I liked what Mia said about reputation. It does. It goes with you, and it's hard to shift it. Because when I see Romero go in for a tackle, I've seen other players do very similar tackles or even worse
Or
tackles,
worse,
and they
worse.
don't get a yellow card. Yeah,
You're
because
right.
they
You
haven't
are
got
right.
the reputation.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
it's
But if
just
you've got
yeah,
if you've got the reputation for it,
yeah,
it's no different to Harry Kane, for example. Yeah, Harry Kane has got a reputation of scoring goals. Other players
yeah,
haven't. Now, if someone else goes and misses a sitter like he did the other week, where he basically totally got the volley wrong and put it over the top, yeah, he is going to get absolutely slated for it. If other
yeah,
midfielders or strikers that are meant to be able to score goals totally miss a penalty, they're going to get grilled for it. It's got
yeah,
nothing to do with their gender or whatever else than that. Like people like to use excuses for it, yeah, which we all know people do. Oh, you're only grilling him because of A, B, C, D. No bollocks. We're grilling him because he's got a name of being able to do it and he's screwed it up good and proper. You're going to cop it 10 times more when you've built a reputation up for yourself of being able to score a goal. Instead of, say, a defender that screwed it up, you're going to sit there and just, why wasn't Harry Kane there? So whether it's scoring goals, whether it's tackles, whether it's this and that, when you
yeah.
make a name for yourself, the mud sticks, good and bad. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
you got the reverse where you got Werner who can't finish his dinner, so you expect it.
Exactly. So
And
when he screws it up, you just shrug your
Yeah,
shoulders, don't you?
you just
When he
say, "Oh,
misses.
that's Werner for you."
so while I'm enjoying talking about my favourite topic of Romero, we are going to move on.
We're going to
What's your
swiftly move on.
thoughts? What are your thoughts, Dan, about the possible exit of Spence? Do you think he's been unfairly sort of treated, and people are judging him because he's not been playing on his preferred side, or do you think that if it was a possibility to sell him, that you would sell him?
Tricky player, that one. He came on for us, and for about 8 games, he looked the business. And then there's another problem, I think, with where someone's got too much of an ego for his own good. And the problem is, and I don't want to bring Romero back into it, but Romero's ego, at times, he can justify it, but only certain times. Spencer's got no right to have the ego he's got because he has done nothing in football to justify it. That 15 minutes he came on for England the other day, he was brilliant. No two ways about it. He was excellent. The whole team was good. But to come on for 15 minutes and play the way he did, when we all know he shouldn't even be in that England team, basically, nobody would have picked him in that team. He'd done an excellent job. He's come on and done excellent jobs for us. And then he's also come on and looked extremely lazy. He can defend, but he can't get forward with the ball. When he gets forward with the ball, he doesn't know what to do with it and that. But he can play left. He can play right. I think he is more of a left-sided player now for the way he's been pushed into playing that way, but we know he can play on the right. I think he's a player we got to keep. Why? Because I don't think we've built the squad big enough to start justifying kicking players like that out. Why? Because you've got two sides to him. You've got a left and you've got a right. If you want to play a more defensive game, you go and put Spence there. I mean, if anything, personally, I'd got rid of Porro. Why? Because he can't defend come love nor money. He probably couldn't even defend his family there. He's that bloody bad at it. But go and play him properly and press him forward and use him as a wing back, you will get a much different player out of him. But Spence, I think, is someone we need to keep because he comes under homegrown as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So in that aspect, whether you like it or not, you need it. Same as we need to keep bloody Archie Gray because of it, basically. But he can do two things on that pitch. So I think he's a player we should be keeping personally. But I don't like his attitude at times. He's too big for his boots and he's done nothing to justify it.
So for his versatility, you want to keep him, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and I do
At
understand
this
that.
present moment, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that for now, I guess that we do have to have someone who's versatile. And who else are we thinking to get in that could do that? I don't think there's that many that are out there that can. So I get it. I do get it. And I don't particularly like him because of some of the ways he is. And I do think that he's got his obviously side of him where when he goes forward, he isn't that great. His decision making, his ability. But like you say, Dan, I guess that I have to obviously concede on this one. I did say that I would sell him, but I do get the point why he should be really kept because of that. Right now, it's not really a priority. And I think we need someone there that can play on both sides because that's obviously we've got now more of a left side. So he can now maybe possibly play a bit more on the right if we do need to rest a Porro
Yeah.
So he might get an opportunity to play more. So, yeah, no, I think a lot of people are probably with that squad player. Maybe yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't fit that mould. I get it, Ben, but I do think that he definitely has a place where I think in the squad. But will he be satisfied with being a squad player? Because he has got a bit of the, like you say, big I ams about him that I don't know if he's that kind of player that will just sit on the bench and be happy with it.
Another point with him, Mia, if he was that good, why has he never been a consistent player for Spurs out of about 4 managers now? Why is it as soon as the
Yeah,
Dogie
that's
gets it,
true.
he steps in front of him every time? Why is it when he
Yeah.
had about 7 or 8 consistent, very good games for us, the second the Dogie got fit, baked potato, mate, see you later, dropped? There's a reason to it. There is a reason to it. There's got to be a reason to it.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
mean, personally, I'd start Robertson over Adogie and Spence all day long.
You know what? My analogy of Spence, right? I've watched him a lot, right? He's a very chilled out person in life. Like when he comes off with his sunglasses, goes to a Rio Ferdinand interview with glasses, he's very chilled out. And I watched him in the Europa Cup final when we'd won it in the dressing room, right? And I pointed this out to my niece, Drula. He's so chilled out. He's so laid back. He actually plays like that, right? And I saw him. I went to the Nottingham Forest game, and I was screaming at the top of my voice because he was so laxy daisy, like he didn't care. And I think managers see that, right? And when he's training, I see him. He sort of larks about, and he's sort of got that. You know, when he walks about, he's like the world owes him something. You know what I mean? He's like,
Sounds like Romero.
yeah, but he shows it in his body language because I'm very big on body language, right? And I see him, like, I see him on the pitch, right? And he's sort of, oh, I can't be arsed. You know, like, did you used to watch Harry Enfield's
Yes.
Teenager? He's like that,
Yes.
oh, I can't be bothered. That's it. He comes across like that. And I can see
So
why so many
unfair.
managers don't warm to him.
Yeah.
Because he's got that attitude about him, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
And when
I
you
do
don't
get
want that attitude, the player don't necessarily get picked consistently. Now, the thing is,
No.
let's take Ronaldo, for example, here. Okay, massive step here. But the point I'm giving is the fact that Ronaldo has basically got the point where he can justify, where he can walk about that, or used to. Yeah, I mean, he's done now. Yeah, but he could have walked about that training room and done absolutely nothing. And he had done enough to justify you'd still want him on that bloody pitch. Spencer's done nothing to justify that he can just walk about with a I can't be bothered attitude and should still be picked. There's certain players out there that do just have the attitude vein, basically. And he has done nothing to earn it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
no. I've got to agree with Danny. I wouldn't have got rid of Porro. I think actually Porro isn't a bad player. Again, I think that people, I don't know, like with Porro, I think that the way we've been playing hasn't been suited to him. But I don't think overall he's actually a bad player. But I
didn't
don't know.
say that.
I know.
I said he can't defend come love nor money, and he proved it. He proved it time and time again. Danny Kay, you obviously don't watch football very often. Do you know what? I think you should take that little ring off, mate, and go let some steam out, even if it's in the shower, brother. Shower's good as well.
Boys, behave ourselves.
Boys will be boys.
When it comes to that one, nobody can sit here and tell me he's a good defender. He's a crap defender, but the problem is he's not a defender. So I'm not saying he can't play. I said he's a crap defender and then bigged him right up and getting forward with it.
You see, Spain, they play totally different.
Exactly.
Spain play him as a proper right wing back.
Yes, yeah. Same as he was.
But they don't ask him to defend.
No, because he's crap at it.
I know. They've identified that he's shit at defending.
And
just if we're get forward and support your Mal.
For what he's good at, what's the point on keeping him? You might as well go and sell him for 50 mil and go and get someone who can actually do the job that you want them to do. Now, if De Zerbi's got a plan like Klopp had, I mean, we all know Trent cannot defend, come love nor money. Yeah, he's terrible. He's as bad as Porro at defending. But getting forward and getting the passes in, he's better than Porro. But same sort of player
Yeah.
for me. Now, if he's got a plan of keeping Porro as a right back on the back four or whatever, but then letting him push up the pitch to do his job and then swing it into a back three at the back when he does it, I'm game. But I've got to see it to believe it.
Yeah. So what
Yeah,
you
I
do?
think
He
You
can't
put,
defend.
yeah,
Well,
it's true.
I think
What's
when he does play like that though, De Zerbi, he does change it from a back four to a back three during transitions of the game. So I do think that he might well do that, to be honest, Dan, because he does tend to do that.
That's
Yeah.
what we need to do him with. Because do you two agree that his defending is abysmal? One thing
I
I'll
don't
give
think
him, he gets his tackling is terrible. He can't head the ball. Okay, if he was a good player and he could defend, yeah. Why is it every game we play, they always focus on Porro?
Yeah, they do. They
Always.
target
Why
him
have they
because they
done it?
know
Why
he's
have
shit
they?
defender.
Thank you. They have done it since the start of Ange, basically. Without fail, 9.9 teams out of 10 focus down our right-hand side, their left-hand side, because they know Porro is an abysmal defender. Somebody may be
Yeah.
wrong.
It was
inside.
more highlighted when Ange was our manager because they all bombed forward. One thing I
That's
would
right.
say about Porro, though, right, even though he's a shit defender, he'll get back. Whereas Romero, if he just defended, he's not that bad a defender if he would track back, right? We've got so many players that have got so many different attributes. Like you take Danso, right, for example, he's fantastic in the air. If only Van de Ven was fantastic in the air like that, you'd have a more rounded defender. There's so many skill sets that I would like to take out of one player and put in the other. It's a shame.
I think some people are just not understanding or not wanting to understand what I'm saying. He is an abysmal defender, and that is a fact. He is. I can say that is a fact because again, I can show it on videos time and time again. And if he was actually a good defender, why does every team focus on him? Basically, because he
Yeah.
screws up left, right, and centre on the pitch nearly every time when it comes to defence. He can get in front of a ball, but then Mia, Ellie, and me can go and get in front of the bloody ball. He can't get up in the air.
Yeah.
He can't get up in the air.
No.
Yeah, he can't. He cannot.
He's only
defend.
5'10", isn't he?
But exactly. But I think he's shorter than that. But when it comes to pressing
5'10".
forward and crossing the ball in, he's not very good at beating his man, but he can do it, and he has got some space on him. One thing the man has got is an immense amount of stamina, but he has got a justification to be put on that pitch of what he can do on that pitch if you play him the right way. But we don't play him the right way, and we never have done at Spurs. So why do you keep a player that you're just not going to play him to what he's strong at, and he's just going to get called out time and time again, and he's going to get focused on time and time again, and he's going to be the weak spot of your team? Why did they never focus on Spence down on the left-hand side? Why do they never focus on the Dogie down the left-hand side? Why don't they, why is it always Porro they focus on?
Yeah.
Because he can't defend.
Yeah. And I remember when he played for Sporting, right, and we played them in the Champions League, they played him like Spain play him, like a proper wing back, and he looked tremendous. And that's what we bought him from. And then we start playing him in defence.
That's my whole point, Ellie. He can do a job on the pitch. He can do a very good job on the pitch. But again, if you are not going to play a player to his strong attributes, what's the point on keeping him? What's the point on having him as your liability on the pitch? Me personally, if I was going to pick a back four and keep it as a back four flat line, I'm having Robertson on that side. And with the team we have at the moment, because I think Robertson walks all over bloody Adogi and Spence personally. And I'm going to have Spence on the other side if I want a flat back four. Now, if I want Porro to go forward and start crossing the ball in for me and everything, like almost Ange did to an extent, but where Ange was thick as shit where it came to defending, he didn't know how to cover Porro when he went forward, and inverted I don't agree with. And then if De Zerbi's got that plan to let him bomb forward and start crossing the ball in while Kudus cuts in and everything, and then make it a flat back three at the back, that makes perfect sense. But I'm going to have to see it first, believe it, because you two basically agree with me in that he can't defend, and he's a liability on the pitch when it comes to a flat back four defending. It's not his position. It's not the way he plays.
True. It's very true.
That's like getting James Maddison and sticking him as a defensive midfielder. You'd laugh at it. Why? Because he's so bloody brittle and that. Me and you could knock him out the way, for God's sake. Yeah? You don't put in a player. You know what I mean? I bet you
He's
would.
such a slight
That
man,
sounded
isn't he,
terrible.
Madison?
That sounded terrible. Ellie, that sounded terrible.
I can take him out. No, but he is. He's slight. And you see his legs, right? Before he got the injury, they were slim. And then, you lose muscle when you're trying to get back. And I saw him when he went to that training centre and he had to do the turns. And then you see him sitting down and his legs are so like chicken legs. Like they're like my husband's legs. My husband's got more beef on the top, but on the bottom, he's like chicken legs. I mean, he's made of paper, Madison, but what he has got is other skill sets that make him stand out as a creative midfielder, and he can score and assist. That's one
So
thing we missed from last season.
yeah, 100%. So we've got breaking news that Julia always tends to break here and other places.
I love it.
Liao wants to play in the Premier League, and Tottenham's welcome option. Liao's waiting for an official €60 million bid from the North from the club. Liao is ready to accept Spurs' offer even without Champions League. What do you guys think
Yes.
of that?
I haven't seen that much of him, but I have been watching him since, right? And I saw him come on for Portugal yesterday. He's a very rapid player. He likes to take his player on. He's not scared to take his player on, which I like, because I hate wingers who bloody check back all the time and pass it back, right? And I saw in that 15 minutes then and the game before where he done that tremendous shot, there's certain things of his game that are really good. But I see a lot of people saying that he's very inconsistent, right? But his stats are quite good. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to him, just put it that way, because he's rapid, strong, and he's played in a very tough league with fantastic defenders in Italy. They're probably the best defenders in the world, right? And he's held his own. So I wouldn't say no to him, nah.
The thing is with him, I've watched him play countless times.
Yeah, so you got a better stance on it.
He's another one that on his day, the one to relate him to is Marcus Rashford. He's just like him. And he's also got an ego just like him. He's a big problem when you get him on the ego, yeah? If anything, he's got a bigger ego than Romero. He thinks his shit don't stink. Same as Rashford, yeah? And he also plays the same as Rashford in the aspect of, in a game, he can perform something magical and change that game for you. Maybe magical's a bit much, but he can totally change the game for you. He can take his man on. He can shoot. He can get in the air. He can do all that. But the thing is with Leo is he has got to be one of the laziest players I've ever seen in football.
Right.
He's one that wants you to put the ball to his foot. I'm surprised he don't ask you to control the ball for him. He is so lazy, it is unreal. But the other thing he's got with the same as Rashford is he is so patchy. So patchy. Now, when you go look at his stats look good. But then when you go look at Son, his stats looked electric. But then if you actually go look at Son's stats, he was also a very patchy player as well. But there's a big difference here. Son would go and score 6-7 goals in 4 games. And then for 8 games, you wouldn't even see him score a goal. But you still knew he was on that pitch. He wasn't a Johnson where he'd go and score a goal and then just totally evaporate. And the thing is with Raphael, he basically does it for a month, 2 months, and then just nothing. And then all of a sudden he'll appear again and do it consistently, and then nothing.
And then nothing.
And he'll do it again, and then nothing.
Yeah.
He is a brilliant player, but the mentality he's got, I think, is very poor, and the consistency he's got on the pitch is very poor as well. But would I take him at Spurs with the options we've got of Gakpo and all that sort of stuff? Do you know what? If we could get him on loan for a year with an option of buying him, I'll take him and I'll take my chance with him. And I'd actually take him over Rashford, basically, because Rashford, I just think he's an absolute prick.
Yeah. I think that
he's a lesser prick than Rashford.
It's like the lesser of two evils. It's like a lesser of it's like I would take him on loan. I wouldn't necessarily buy him. I think because he is so patchy, I think buying him would be the wrong move, in my opinion, to use that money up to buy someone like him. That's just my personal opinion.
He plays on the left, doesn't he? He plays on the left, so we need a left-sided player, but not as our main one.
I'd say if you're going to relate him, he's like Rashford. He's an inside forward. He's not a winger. He's an inside forward. He can cross the ball, yes, but he hardly ever does it. He's an inside forward. I would class him as an inside forward.
When he did that terrific shot, flipping thunderbolt shot, unlucky not to score, but yeah, he came inside. Yeah. And would you say he's better than Tell? Because Tell is not that good, is he?
Tell is absolute crap and has done nothing to prove that
I just wanted to be kind.
And Tell's best cross was actually in front of our own bloody goal, for God's sake. And then he goes and scores a good goal for us and then gives away a bloody penalty. Tell has done nothing to justify a 50 million that we paid. Was it 50 million altogether, including the season
like before?
He has done nothing to justify it as yet. Nothing. Is there a player there? I haven't seen nothing to tell me there's a player there yet. Again, each has got their own what turns them on. Some like blonde hair, blue eyes. Some like black hair, brown eyes. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. But for me, Tell has done absolutely nothing to justify that position to keep it. And if he had, why would we even be questioning getting other players there?
Yeah.
If he was as good as some people say he is, why would we even want other players there?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think that we need someone more experienced in that position. Personally, I don't really want us to get to keep getting these youngsters in. So that's something I'm definitely looking at. But I just think that with Liao, to buy him would be a bit risky. And I think there might be someone else out there that we could get, like someone like a Gakpo who can do different jobs, and he isn't, I don't think, as patchy for sure.
He's greedy though, Gakpo, isn't he? I mean, basically, Ellie, what I'm taking in what you're saying, Dan, Ellie, is Mia, that you want some experience on that pitch, don't you?
Yeah,
you want some experienced players now. You don't want players that have got hope and potential. You want players that are proving it now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Let you go and have people that will justify a goalkeeper that has lack of experience and has only had 5 good games in his actual career at Spurs.
Do you think that's why we haven't got?
But if we're going to get,
I'm not saying you. I'm speaking about Spurs supporters in general.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
When I say you, I should say Spurs supporters.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that's why? Sorry, I've got a bit of lagging.
You're going to let me go.
Do you think that's why we haven't got Savinho over the line, because they don't see him as enough experience? You know, because he's been very patchy at Man City and he's not even really got a massive run of games where you can really judge him fully. Because what I've seen of him, I like, but I can't really judge him because he doesn't get a 20-run match for Man City. And then the only other sizable thing you've got is when he was at Girona and he performed well, but that was in a different league. So he hasn't really broken into the Man City first team as such. And then they go and buy Semenyo. So that's trying to say, well, you're not good enough, so we're going to bring in a better player than you.
We need a goal scorer, don't we? Everybody keeps saying that this team at the moment that we have at the moment, I was saying it was like a 10th place team, and then we bought Tonali. I'll bring this up to a 7th or 8th, because we can't score goals. Because we have an absolute, I mean, Kudus is not going to get you more than double figures in the season.
No.
You know, he's not. And I think most will agree with that. Some will disagree with that, but he's similar to a Kulusevski. He's not really going to get you double figures in the season. If he does, he's had an excellent season, but I don't see him doing it. We've got 2 strikers that are probably 2 of the most abysmal strikers in the Premier League. And on the left, we have just got 2 people that just cannot justify even being in the Spurs team, Odegaard and Tell. So we need someone who can score goals. Now, Savinho can give you a good winger, that bit of magic on the pitch. He can beat his man. Can he cross the ball? I think he can, yeah. But we need goal scorers. If anything, we've got to take more of a risk with Raphael than we have with Savinho, because at least Raphael has proven that he can score goals. Savinho has proved nothing that he can score goals consistently. He's had one good season where he scored 9 or 10, something along those lines. if I remember, in Spain. But I'm sorry, one good season does not justify a player. You're talking about you want consistency and experience, and we need consistent goal scorers up front. He's not a consistent goal scorer, but is he better than what we've got? Sure as. Me, you, and me are better than what we've got up front. So if we're not getting no one else, then it looks like we'd have to go for him as such. But I don't want us to be in a situation where we haven't got no option and just have to go for that player.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree.
I'd go for Raphael. I'd go for Raphael because he's proven he can score goals.
Yeah, no, I do get that. I think that we do. That was my worry with Savinho all along, Dan. I've said this for ages, that I think that he just doesn't have the output. And people were saying, well, he's got quick feet, he'll get you off your seat. I don't care about that. I think we need output from this team now. We can't be sitting there and just be like, yeah, this is okay because he's a good player. We need something from that, because at the end of the day, on the other side, Kudus doesn't score. So we can't have both of our wingers not scoring. So
we have no scorers. Tonali is not going to get you consistent goals, and he's not going to get you consistent assists either. He'll get a few, but that's just not the game he plays. And if we're playing properly like AC Milan, we're going to drop him deep as a deep line playmaker, so he can press forward and also play double pivot with Fernandes. AC Milan, he was excellent at staying back deep, getting the ball, and then passing the ball, and then getting into other spaces, getting forward with the ball, and then giving it to the Maddison to finish the job, basically, That's what they've done at AC Milan, and that's why they said he was going to be the next Pirlo out there, which he obviously never lived up to that, and that is a very, very, very hard job to live up to anyway.
It is.
Yeah. And you look at else on the pitch, we're not going to get... We can't rely on bloody defenders to go get in the bloody goals for us. We can't. We've got no one else on that pitch who consistently can score for us. We need a striker desperately who is proven that he can score consistent goals over seasons on that left-hand side and on that right-hand side and on in the middle. Sorry, and we haven't got that yet. So until we get that, we're a 7 or 8 at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also with Savinho, right? I'd like to add this point, right? I feel, right, he's got a point to prove, right? Because at Man City, he's been a bit part player because there's been other players that have performed ahead of him and he's not been able to break into the team consistently, right? Because obviously they're performing. So I think if he does come, I think De Zerbi can work with him to get him to score more goals. And I feel that he has got a big point to prove because I think he's still very young, isn't he? I think he's 22, if I'm right, 22, 23, right? So I like players that come to clubs and want to prove a point because the boy is Brazilian for starters, right? Brazilian footballers generally, I'm not stereotyping here, but they are technically really good, right? And we can see that he's technically good. But like Mia said, he's got to put the output in as well, the GA, right? The goals and assists. Whether he's going to do that, we're going to find out, aren't we? But at the same time as saying that, it is taking a punt because he hasn't proven himself at Man City to nail down that position, has he?
How many games has he played for Man City?
Not that many.
So would you call that Ellie? Would you call that an experienced player in the Premier League?
He's not. No, and when people say he is, that he's not. He's not an experienced player. He might have played
football. He might have played football in his career and actually had a consistent amount of games in Spain, but he is still experienced in the Premier League because he doesn't play. So why do we go and get So why should we go and get a player if we really mean business? Why should we go and get a player who is inexperienced in the Premier League when we're already accepting some players who are extremely inexperienced in the Premier League, but for some reason love them off just because they've done a couple of good things? I'm sorry. He hasn't even had a good season in the Premier League to justify an 80 million price tag. He's lack of experience in the Premier League.
And also, if he had the lack of experience, but in the times that he was playing, he actually contributed to the GA of the club, right? You'd think, all right, take a punt, but he hasn't. That's what one thing I will say though, he has got a point to prove, the boy. All right, So maybe that's why Spurs are going for him, and it is the wrong decision to go for him because you want some sort of credence to actually buy him. You know what I mean? When we could go for other
Basically,
players who have proved
mhm.
themselves, who have got the Premiership experience or experience in another league for several seasons where they've been contributing.
The annoying thing is, if we still had Simmons, and I think another one that we don't play to his strong point, he's not a number 10 for me. Not in the Premier League. He ain't got it. Not in the Premier League. He ain't got the physicality for it. I get there was times where he didn't have time. People will say he was our most consistent creative person, and that wasn't bloody hard, was it? But if people actually go and check him out, when he actually played on the left as a left-sided playmaker, as a left-sided inside forward and a winger, sort of bit of everything, because he has got it. He has blatantly got the skill. In Germany, he scored more goals and goal assists on the left-hand side. If
Yeah,
he wasn't bloody injured, I think there is a good cover for the left, who I think is much better than Savino to go out and put on the left, who you'll get a lot more out of, because he's got the mentality to read a game and to know what to do with the ball, like before he even gets it as such. Maybe that's a bit of a too much compliment to him. That's more of a Madison and Ericsson, but he is a playmaker, and you don't have to use a playmaker as a number 10. And 9 times out of 10, Simmons just got knocked all over the place. He just got pushed all around. And
yeah,
I think you'll get more out of him as 11. But the problem is he's going to be out for, well, with an ACL injury, we don't know if we're ever going to get Simmons back. People say that sounds a bit, oh, it's only an injury. Has anyone ever had an ACL injury that keeps you out for 7 months? Look what happened to Benton Core. Look what happened to other really good players out there who damaged their ACL and could never come back the same extent that they could again. So it's another one we can't rely on in that aspect. It's like people saying we could get Kulu back. For me, he's done. I don't think he's ever going to play football at the top quality of what he could have done again, because his injuries have been too harsh. Madison, is that another player I want to rely on? No. Why? Because of the 2 major injuries he's had. And out of all the games he could have played for us, Madison has only played half the amount of games that he could have played for us. So as a manager as well, I think we need a 10, because even if we don't get someone on the left and on the striker, we still need creativity there. We still need chemistry.
yeah.
Someone
Exactly
creative.
what I've been
And
saying in
again,
the WhatsApp
when people,
groups.
yep. And then when people love off Madison as well, and I think he's an excellent player, by the way. If you actually go back to that first season he had, him and Basuma for about 10 games were probably the best 2 midfielders in the Premier League at the time, the way they were performing. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, the
And then all
first
of a
10
sudden,
games.
and then all of a sudden they literally fell off a cliff. Madison included, fell off a cliff for a consistent amount of games, and he was terrible. And what did Leicester City always warn us? Something like 33% player, like he'll turn up in certain another patchy player, but excellent, absolutely excellent on his day. So I feel we need some chemistry on that pitch as well. I feel we need a number 10, a striker, and an 11, a left winger. We need a 10 just as important, because if you can't get the chemistry on there, where are the strikers going to get the goals? If we would have had a consistent number 10 on there, would we have had more goals? Because Simmons was not consistent. Simmons looked best when a team would drop off him because he didn't have players coming at him, because he played in the German league. Now, the German league ain't easy by no one's standards. People think it's a farmers' league because Munich always win it. Well, if Munich came to the Premiership, they've got the capabilities to win the Premiership as well, because they are just that bloody good and they are that bloody rich compared to everyone. But when you look at him in the German league and you watched him play European football, he had more time on the ball. He had time to think and do something, and he looked significantly better. As soon as he played against teams that pressed him straight away on him, which the Premiership is known for and being the best league in the world for it, he looked all over the place at the best of times, in my opinion.
Yeah,
We
I
need
agree
a 10
with
as
you.
much as we need a left and a striker.
I'm glad you agree with me, Dan, because I've been saying it till I'm blue in the face, and people say, no, we don't need a creative. We've got Madison. No,
Yeah,
because he's going to go down with an injury. He is, because he's so slight. And like you said, they press you. And the slightest knock, because he's had an ACL. We saw with Bentancur, it took him ages to get back to speed. And he hasn't really got to where he was before. He hasn't. All right, because you see Bentancur when he was playing under Jose and under Conte, he was driving forward with the ball all the time. Now what he does, he sits and he passes sideways. He very rarely progresses the ball, right? And he's become like a link player rather than what he was before, where he was a deep line playing midfielder, and he'd pick up the ball. I remember when he first came and he'd done that spin, right? And the fans would go, whoa, right? Because he span on and he left the player for dead, right? And he's fast. He's actually fast, Bentancur, but he's lost because of that ACL injury. He's lost a bit of
It's
that.
done him completely.
Yeah, it has. It's done him.
And didn't
He
I tell
can't
everyone,
sprint
Ellie?
like he used to.
Didn't I tell everyone, Ellie? He Juventus, he's a deep line playmaker, and he can also cover our DM bit very quick. He can cover our DM bit because we haven't got a DM there. Literally 99% of people told me on there, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Bentancur never played deep, and he can't cover a DM. Didn't I tell everybody that Kulusevski's being played totally the wrong way, and he should be playing in the middle as a false nine or an attacking midfielder central? And Ronaldo has stated, even though you don't take a player's statements completely, because Messi said Romero is the best defender he's ever seen. And then Ronaldo also said Kulusevski is the best false nine and the best number 10 he's basically had behind him.
Yeah.
Again, players, we play the wrong bloody way. But then people go and preach about it. They don't play like that. They don't play this. You can obviously tell when people don't follow other leagues except the Premier League.
Yeah, true.
So
get all the best news here on Mia's channel.
Yeah, that's it. Vindaloo, get lost. That's all I can say. Not at the moment, Ellie. Brazil are absolutely rubbish now. Yeah, they're not great.
They really are.
They're not great at all. I watched them the other day. I've watched a couple of their games, and they've been absolutely.
They're rubbish. They are rubbish, but that you can still see they've got individual players who've got really good technical skill. It's just that they don't play as a team. Yeah, before they had the technical skill, but they played as a team and they moved the ball so well. Flipping hell, I used to love watching Brazil play.
When Brazil used to come on the pitch, people were scared.
Yeah.
Scared.
Yeah, 100%.
When they had Ronaldo, when they had players like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Rivaldo when he was at it, Cafu, and you can go on with other players as well. People shit a brick when they used to come on the team. These days, Brazil come on, you look forward to playing them because they're a bang average team. But then you can say that about most international teams. Are France scary? Yeah, France are very good. But are France the France that is probably, I would say, the best international team I've ever seen? I think that French team was better than the Brazilian team.
1998 one.
I think that was better than the Brazilian team.
Yeah, they are. All round, they're better. So when they had Vieira as their DM, bloody hell, what a player he was.
And then Zidane next to him, and then the options of Perez, Emmanuel Petit. They had Lilian Thuram to go in defence. Even Thierry Henry up front.
Flipping brilliant.
You know what I mean?
Not Drogba. Drogba played for Ivory Coast. No. I wish he'd been French as well.
Something I'm going to talk about quickly as well, as people mentioned this already about Mawani. There was a report that Mawani was being looked at again by Spurs, but then they've come out and actually said this is indeed fake news, people. This is fake news, because I'm pretty sure that all of us can agree that we don't want him to return. I actually thought he could be all right for us, but he just wasn't. He was just absolutely useless. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on this, guys, about Mawani returning and then obviously it being poo-pooed as fake news? Would you want him back?
Not on the evidence we saw at Spurs, no, because he just flattered to deceive. And I don't know, there's sort of an attitude problem with him as well, right? He never worked hard for the team. You know, he was just, I don't know, he only scored 1 goal and 2 in Europe in the Champions League against PSG, and he's supposed to be a striker. We were playing him on the right wing a lot, but still, I didn't see enough from him to warrant us keeping him. And it is fake news, so that's it. Yeah. He's not good enough.
Yeah,
I was
100%.
I was actually quite happy when we snatched him. And I mean, look, everyone wants deals done at the start of the window. Of course you do. That's the best time. But if a deal comes up, you take it, whether it's at the end, middle, or start, don't you? And I thought he was a good option because in half the season he played at Juventus, he was actually pretty good. I mean, he weren't the
He
best,
scored
but
9 goals, didn't
yeah, he was, yeah, but he was also good on the pitch. One thing Moane has got is ball control.
he?
But apart from that, if we even go and touch that, that is probably one of the. Do you know what? That was probably a worse loan than Tell. I think he was worse. I think he's worse than Tell on the pitch for Spurs. He was bloody awful.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think if you look at Tell's output, it was better than Moane's by a long shot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
And better than Werner's. I think Werner only scored 1 goal for us, didn't he?
No, he scored 2 or 3, if I remember right.
Was it?
But,
Oh,
but
right. I
even,
only remember one. The one against
I think
Man City in the Cup.
yeah. Do you know what? If you gave me an option of them two, and that's probably the poorest. Do you know what? I think I'd have Werner on the pitch instead of him, because at least Werner could always beat his man.
Yeah.
He always could. Werner just couldn't cross, shoot, or pass. It was a shame, really. And he used to get in excellent positions as well, but he just couldn't. He just couldn't deliver in any means or manner. Moane,
he won the Champions League medal as well for Chelsea.
Yeah, Moane just no, man, just no.
Technically okay. Yeah, he can control the ball. He can dribble. But what he does, he dribbles and then he goes into dark areas, or he'll lose the ball. He'll kick it out before he thinks too much. Release the ball. Like, you know, when Lucas Moura got the ball, brilliant dribbler, right? End product, not there. Lamela, another one, used to roll the ball over his foot so many times, right? And then pass the bloody ball. I used to have so much frustration.
He was terrible for us. Absolutely shockingly bad for us. Terrible. Probably one of the worst loans we've ever had.
What, Tell?
No, sorry. I'm thinking of Moane still. I'm thinking of Moane.
Oh, Moane.
Yeah. I mean, Tell weren't much better as a loan either, if we're going to be honest in that. Yeah, but Moane, just no.
Someone saying good morning to you here. Ellie, International Globe server.
Yeah.
They're saying hello to you. And Lamela used to tackle himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what? Lamela, not the greatest player, but I like that he was like a feisty character, and I like that he had a bit of audacity about him to sort of like be like Billy Big Bollocks in it. Like I did like him for that, and he loves Tottenham still. He still follows us. So
yeah. He was a shithouser, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If he could have stayed fit, he would have been one of the best players in the league in my position. He had the skill, he could shoot, he could beat his man, he had a bit of pace on him. He had a lot to him. He had technique, he could control the ball, he had skill. Yeah, he's another player that was always broken. And if you're gonna, you can't have those in your team. You can't rely on players like that to have in your first 11 consistently when you want to pick your first 11. I mean, what was the point in having him to have a game now and again?
If he had Eriksen's decision making, right? Because Eriksen's decision making was fantastic, right? One of the best we've had, right? And he doesn't get his due sometimes. Eriksen,
no.
He's sort of not the forgotten man, but he's not really mentioned in affection. With me, I loved him because I thought he was a fabulous midfielder, scored goals, assisted, very clever, vision, and that's what I'm saying about some of our players. If only they had attributes of other players,
You know what Eriksen was, Ellie? Eriksen was a number 10 version of Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
Basically, in my opinion, yeah. Eriksen knew already what he wanted to do with that ball and where the players he wanted to pass to before he even got the bloody ball. Same as Maddison. It's just he was better than Maddison. Let's just be real there, yeah?
Yeah, of course he is.
And then Michael Carrick, he knew what he was doing in that 6 role, basically, as a deep-lying playmaker. He already knew where he was going to pass the ball, left, right, centre, up front, or even a long ball before he got it. I mean, he stayed in Man U's team with Fergie until he was, 38? Something along those lines. And he doesn't get no justification whatsoever. And for me, he's one of the most underrated players ever in the Premier League. Eriksen, another one, a number 10 that don't get the credit he deserves. when he has been actually one of the best number 10s in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If you want to play,
He had everything, Ericsson. He had a shot on him. He knew when to pass, vision, stamina. I think they done stats on him, and he covered the most amount of the pitch out of all midfielders of his era. Because he was a hard-working player, but he never got his dues. Sometimes I think fans, right, they forget too easily, and then they settle for lesser players in our club. We should be going for that standard always, and going for the Kane. All right, we might not get quite Kane standard, but at least get a striker that can get you 20, 25 goals. Right? I see people say 15 goals. That's not enough. We need a striker that's going to get up to 20, 25 and 30 goals. Right? I know there's not many that can do it, but there are a few. There are a few still out there that we can get.
Yeah, but Ellie, this is where we are the most contradicting fan base on the planet. In the aspect of, again, we would slate Enoch and Levy left, right, and centre, that they wouldn't. It's not that they wouldn't spend the money, it's just that they wouldn't do the wages. And I think people will start agreeing now, and nobody can ever, ever, ever look me in the face again and tell me that money does not talk. It's proven fact now. Money talks. And wages were one of our biggest problems. Not the only problem, but one of our biggest problems. And a few people out there, wages weren't the issue. Like, well, obviously it proves if you put the money on the bloody table, you can go to war with people. We've just swung a bigger one than bloody Man U, and also outdone Arsenal and Man City, who are actually interested in Tonali. But the reason we're so contradicting as a Spurs fan base is we would slate them for the players we bring in, this, that, and that, and slate them non-stop on how they've held the club back and everything else, and they don't get the right players. And then you get certain Spurs fans, quite a lot of Spurs fans actually, maybe not so many on YouTube, but definitely on X and everything else, but there are definitely the ones on YouTube, who would then go and fight tooth and nail and be willing to put a sword down their throat at the top of the hill for a bloody Archie Gray. They will defend a Tell. They will defend an Odebert. They will make players right. They will go and make Kinksky as a number one goalkeeper because he had 5 bloody games. Isn't that contradicting itself? When all of a sudden people are all of a sudden preaching all the time that Levy held us back, that we never paid the wages, we never went and got the quality players in. We want better players. We want better players for that first 11. We want to fight for cups. We want to fight for titles. We want to be in the Champions League. And then they go and justify a goalkeeper that has had 5 good games in his entire career for Spurs and has only played about 14 games for Spurs overall and about 4 of them in a cup, and then go and justify players again like Archie Gray, Odeberts, Tells and everything else. Isn't that quite contradicting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because the most successful clubs in England are the ones that don't take a punt, that they have the data and they have the experienced players come in to play the most important roles in the team. And like you said the other day, Dan, which I totally agree with, the goalkeeper is if not the most important, the second most important position in a club. And we're taking a punt. We are. We're taking a risk.
And some. What has he actually done to justify that first place? People say he kept us up. Yeah, number 2.
I like him, but I don't think if you're a serious club, you don't go on 13. He's had 13 games for Spurs, right? In total. And 7 of those, more than half, were at the back end of the season. And we're going on the whim that he's going to be our number 1 goalie. No, you can't do that if you're a serious club.
People said he kept us up, Ellie, but then you can also argue that Paulinho kept us up. Then you can also argue that bloody De Zerbi kept us up. You can also argue that West Ham were just that diabolical that they kept us up as well when they had the chance to stay up themselves. I'm sorry, 5 good games. He played 7 games. 2 of them were bang average. He made 2 which you could call a world-class save, which any player can do. Look at Richard, like on their day. Look at Richarlison, goes and scores 2 world-class goals and 5 goals, and then all of a sudden, a lot of Spurs defenders get wet. We've got the real Richarlison. We've got a manager who can do it. The next thing you know, you might as well put a gun to his head because he disappeared, and go and justify a bloody player that has had 5 good games. 5 good games. He has got no experience in football. Basically, not in the top leagues, not in the Premier League. Does 12 to 14 games that he's played for us justify an experienced goalkeeper? A 23-year-old. Now, one thing I'll give him is mentality has been brilliant for what he was able to do. Yeah,
Yeah. You've
brilliant.
got to give
But
him
I'm
his
sorry,
kudos for
I
that.
personally am not going to back down on this in any means or manner, and I am not willing to take that risk when there is players like Sevilla that we could go out there from Roma, and I keep telling people that Italy is in major trouble. The only reason Juventus now want Vicario is because they can't afford the 35 million price tag on, I can't pronounce his name properly, Roma, who has had 30 clean sheets in 2 seasons, been Serie A #1, had 3 separate managers in the not last season, the season before, and still managed to keep nearly 15 clean sheets when Roma was basically at the bottom of the league and built themselves up with a 3rd manager. And yet we go again and justify a player that had 5 good games in the second most important part on the pitch, because a goalkeeper can get you leagues. A goalkeeper wins you games. A goalkeeper can stop you getting relegated, like some will say he did. A goalkeeper can earn you 10 to 15 points in a season. He is just as important as a striker. And we are relying on a kid now with no experience, nothing to justify that he's a #1 player. But again, we go back to the sentimental side of Spurs. He deserves it. He deserves his chance. We should give him a chance. No, he has done nothing to justify a #1 goalkeeper, in my opinion.
Just a quick ad break, people. Please make sure you are smashing that like button and subbing if you haven't subbed already. And as much as I would love to have this conversation about Kinski again, I think we'll move on quickly to the last thing I was going to speak about. I'm not getting involved in the Kinski thing again because I think I've said my bit on that one. So
I was more agreeing with Ellie with it because she mentioned it.
I know.
Can I just mention one more quick thing, right? Right, now, Kinski's raw, right? We all agree he's only had 13 Premiership games. There's a goalie called Diego Costa who's just got knocked out with Portugal, but he's performed miracles. He got 22 clean sheets in 33 games, right? Now, why aren't we going for him?
Because he's going to cost significant. He's going to cost 50, 60 million, where Sevilla we can go and get him for about 35 million. Juventus basically wanted to buy him. The price was 35 million for him, from what it says in the Italian books. They can't afford it, so Juventus are going to go for Vicario, basically.
Yeah,
because in Italy they just ain't got the money, Ellie.
We could get him. We could get him. He's a fabulous goalie. Controls his box. Big, strong. Reminds me a bit like Schmeichel, the way he spreads his body. Right? Yeah. And 22 sheets in 33 in the Portuguese league. And we know the Portuguese league is pretty good. You know, it's not the best, but it's pretty good. And they've got technical players. A bit like they're more or less Brazilian, aren't they, the Portuguese? Right? They play like a Brazilian where the technical skill is high. Yeah. So I think we're taking a punt. We really are.
Massive.
So apparently we're saying his name wrong. It's Diego.
He's
Costa.
right. He's right.
I always say Diego. I like calling him Diego. Diego, yeah, because it's Diogo. Diego Costa.
Thanks, Danny, the Karen.
Diego Costa. It's just harder to pronounce.
Don't worry, I had Drilla told me off earlier about my banner being spelt wrong. I was like, Joe, what? Like, whatever, man. Whatever.
Cheers, Danny Karen.
Right. So
Danny Karen.
Danny Karanaku.
So we're going to talk about one last thing, which is Mikey Moore. Dortmund are the big apparently in for him, but they want an option to buy guys. Now we all say about our youngsters, and we obviously a lot of people want them to come through and be good, but are we maybe holding on to Mikey Moore, or should we let him go? What do you think? Because I would keep him. I think going out on loan and bringing him back's best. But some people might say, well, if we're willing to let other youngsters go, then is Mikey Moore really going to be it for Tottenham one day? So what's your opinions on that? I'm playing devil's advocate, by the way. I'm just saying.
You go.
Was Vuskovic okay? Was Vuskovic going to be quality for one day? People said he's got potential to be the best defender out there. Now, personally, if we are this big club and we are going to start acting like a big club, which it looks like we are, I mean, I personally wouldn't mind Mikey Moore going out on loan and giving him more experience and whatever else. But what do Chelsea do? What do Man U do? Man City do and other clubs? But they have to do it more to get the revenue in. We don't really need to do that, yeah? They go and just put their young players who have got potential and just throw them about everywhere on loan, give them experience. Next thing you know, the player's worth 20, 30 million and they sell him. Now, if we was to get an offered of something like 30 million for him, and a sell-on clause of, say, 20, 25%, not of the profit, but 20, 25% as such, I'd take it all day long, and I would go and put it towards an experienced player that gets in that 11 now. Right here and now, this is another thing we do at Spurs. We justify the kids. We look at our youth team and that. If the youth team's so bloody good, why can't none of them get in the bloody first team? And why do we keep buying young players? And he says, yeah, but it stops them coming out of the youth academy. Yes, because they're not bloody good enough. Now, if you're going to, in my aspect there's a lot of them we should just put out on loan or sell up, basically, because I want to improve the 11. You don't make a team, in my opinion, by getting the kids in the team first and then getting established players. You've got to get established quality players in that team and then slowly milk the youth players in if
the
they
better
are
ones. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we are not Man U of 98. If it were 98, we are not Man U of 98, and no one is ever going to be like that again. Yeah. So personally, if we got offered 30 million for him and a 20-25% sell-on clause, I would sell him and put that 30 million towards a goalkeeper or a striker or a left winger or a number 10 that improves us now, that then takes us up to a possible 4 or 6 next season. Not have my hit and hopes that all of a sudden he comes good. Okay, he done brilliant at Rangers. Not the hardest league in the world, is it? But physicality-wise, I think it done him brilliant. Yeah. But again, then maybe we should have kept Vuskovic then, because he's got they say he's got the potential to be one of the best defenders on the planet. What do? Do we now keep Bergvall when he's done absolutely nothing to justify that he's even really got that much potential the way he's played at Spurs? No, get rid of the players out that you can get the money for, that will give us a better 11 and a better squad for now. Get us better now over the next 2-3 seasons, then start focusing on the young players. That's how I see it.
And weeding the better ones who you think have got the potential to do something. Yeah. Because then they come into a good environment as well. They come into a better environment, just like Arsenal did with Max Dallman. He came into an excellent environment. They weeded him in. They gave him a few games here, a few games there. He scored a really good goal against Everton, and then they dropped him to the bench, and they weeded him in another one game, which is not as important. But I mean, with Arsenal, they had all important games, but they were playing him. He was playing him against the Burnleys, and the Southamptons in the cup away, that sort of game. He wasn't making him a first teamer. He's just weeding him in because he knows he's got the potential. But you've got the core squad of Arsenal that's stronger than anybody else's, right? So we've got to mirror that. We've got to mirror that. Otherwise, we're going to fall by the wayside.
Arsenal made their 11 and now start milking in the young players. Yeah. We need to make an established team there and a good squad. Yeah. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes.
Where they're playing together as a team for at least a couple of seasons. Exactly. And then they build on it. And then you bring the youngsters in.
Exactly. So why do you want to rely on kids to do the job when we complained about it all last season? And anyway, what would be the point of bringing in Mikey Moore when he's not really going to get a look in that team, if we're going to be honest? If we go and get a left winger and we go and get a striker, go and get a number 10, he's not even going to get a look in the team. He'd be lucky if he gets a look in the team in the bloody League Cup. So what's the point? Either take him out on loan or sell him and get the money for him. Sell him, bring in the money, then spend it on an established good player. If we've only got, say, 70 million to spend on a player, on a striker, just an example, you go sell Mikey Moore, you've now got 100 million to go and spend. Why? To me, it doesn't make sense in any other way. You want it now.
I just looked at Mikey Moore's stats as well. He played 47 games for Rangers, scored 7 and assisted 4. So that's 11 GA in 47. So what's that? About a quarter, isn't it? A quarter of the games that he contributed. But in terms of GA, but if you go on the over,
But does that justify being in Premier League team?
If he'd got 27 goals, or not even 27, say 17 goals and 12 assists. You think, not too bad, 29 goals, but he's got 11, right?
And then you also look at the league, Ellie, and the Scottish League is ranked something like 27, 23rd in the world, and is lower than our League One, for God's sake.
I know. They put him on loan.
But some people at Spurs, Ellie, just seem to have a fetish for young boys, young players. They do. Don't ask me why.
You quickly changed it there.
Yeah, I said it the wrong way.
Yeah.
A lot of supporters at Spurs, I find, just have a fetish for a youth team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice when a youth player comes through and everything and that. When does it happen? What, 1.1%?
You can see with Luca Williams Barnett, right? You can see there's a player there, right? And you can see he's got technical ability, but he's not a man yet. He's very slight. He's like Madison's build. He's very slight. He needs to become a man before we introduce him. So we're doing the right thing with him, I feel, because you can see that he's got such brilliant vision and such technical skill that he will stand out. And he'll be one for the future, but not quite yet, not yet, right? Maybe in 2 years' time, then come and play him. And weed him in like they did to Max Dallman. Yeah,
How
and
many
now we've
players
only got one.
through the academy in their club, Ellie? How many actually do it?
Not many. That's what I'm saying. I feel that he more than Mikey Moore has got the attributes to make it, but he needs to become a man. I always hear Mia say that they're not even a man yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The thing is, people assume.
Young players? Go, sorry, Mia.
Yeah, people assume that just because you get to 18 then suddenly you're a man. That's not how it works, right? Like, you don't get to 18 and suddenly you become a man. It's not like Banana Man, if anyone knows about that. That cartoon, great cartoon. That he's banana, and all of a sudden becomes super strong and become a man. That's not what happens in football. You don't just become a man because of your age. It's obviously about your body composition and your abilities. Obviously, in your learning, how quickly you learn. Are you able to improve? All of those factors go into it. It isn't just you're a man now. There you go, off you go. Like, that's just not how it works.
But the other way it does work, Mia, in football and in business, it's like if we go and get Krupi, for instance, I haven't seen enough of him to judge him yet, but people have told me he's excellent. I've checked up on a bit of stuff for him. He looks good. But again, he's had one good season. And if he goes and costs us 80 million, 90 million, you forget his age. It's got nothing to do with it. He has to justify that 90 million. It doesn't matter if he's young. What are you going to do? Make excuses for him for the next 2 years if he wouldn't do it, like we did with Archie Gray. It's not fair that the player has to live up to be in that, because he doesn't make the price of himself. But if you are going to spend your money that much on something, you expect the return on it. And if someone is going to claim they are good enough to play in that first 11, I will judge an 18-year-old exactly the same as I will judge a 38-year-old. The only thing I'll cut a bit of slack on is when you can see they've made a mistake through lack of experience. But if you are worth 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million, and you're on 100, 150,000 price tag, you judge them exactly the same way. I'm sorry, just because they're younger, they have not got that right to be let off time and time and time and time again because of their age. If you are good enough for that first 11 and you are picked for that first 11, then you've got to do your bloody job. Otherwise, you shouldn't be in the squad. That's how I see it.
It's true.
I do agree that obviously I completely agree with like the mistakes obviously being in like they're going to do that because they're young and they are going to be maybe
a bit of slack for that, can't you?
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit inconsistent because of that. I don't judge them on how much we pay for them, because I do think that at the end of the day they don't choose their prices, so it's not that. But I do agree with you that if they're good enough to be in the squad, then they have to prove and show that they're good enough to continue being in the squad, and that's obviously something that they have to show you. And with Mikey Moore, we've not seen him play at Tottenham. It's a bit of a funny one. If Robert De Zerbi sees something in him and they want to put him out on loan, sure, but if if Robert De Zerbi doesn't think that he's somebody in the future that he's going to come to Tottenham, as much as it's going to break everyone's heart to say Mikey Moore's got to move on, then he's got to move on. I want what's best for Tottenham at the end of the day. I'm not really bothered about individual players. I'm more bothered about what's best for Spurs.
Do you know what the other thing is here, Mia, which I'm seeing a hell of a lot of all of a sudden? If De Zerbi wants him, end of. Shut up. Well, hang on a minute. Why did everyone question Ange? Why did everyone question what Thomas Frank did? Why did everyone question every other manager? But all of a sudden, we've got De Zerbi, who I think is a quality manager. I wanted him instead of Thomas Frank, but I would have picked Thomas Frank because I think he was more suited to the club as such, the way the club was run, but got that totally wrong. So why is it now all of a sudden with De Zerbi, keep your mouth shut, wind your bloody neck in and accept what he picks, whereas with every other manager we've had, we've questioned things. Are we not allowed to question things now?
You're allowed to have your opinion, aren't you?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but Ellie, no. So many people in chats and everything tell you shut up. Robert De Zerbi is going to pick it. You're not allowed an opinion now. All of a sudden.
No, I don't think it's about not being able to have an opinion, Dan. I think, like, for me, I didn't really like with managers. You question maybe sometimes their tactics and what they're trying to do as a manager. And a lot of people obviously didn't like Ange. I liked Ange, so I wasn't really someone who I was like, he needs to do certain things, like he did his substitutions too late, in my opinion. I thought that was something that I'd never agreed with him. So things like that, I do question him on. With Frank, I just didn't see what he was trying to do on the pitch. I just didn't think he got across what he wanted on the pitch. And with De Zerbi, I'm going to be just as critical. But with the player thing, I think for me, if a player if he likes a player and sees something in them and they play, it's down to him to obviously make them play good. He has to trust in them, and we have to say, right, Robert De Zerbi, we're now saying it's down to you. You've picked them. We don't pick them. That's your job. They have to do, and they have to perform. So I think that's where I come at it. I don't shut people down and say they can't have an opinion because they don't agree with Robert De Zerbi. But my opinion is,
but a lot of people do.
Yeah, no, I get that.
A manager's job is to make players better. That is a manager's job. That is what he is there to do. He is there to go and make the team as good as he can and play better. And one thing De Zerbi is going to have to do, and he's going to have a big line on his throat basically here, He has now been probably the only manager at Spurs that we can say ever has been backed properly, so far. So he's going to have to live up to standards as well. Now, I'm over the moon with De Zerbi. I personally, do you know what? I'm going to say something here, The way he's getting backed at the moment, and the way I think he is going to get backed over the next 3 years, I think we've got the next Poch there, but I think he can honestly take us to a level of winning a couple of things in due time. But
I like his style of football.
I like his attitude as well.
Yeah.
As long as he gets it right, he's going to have nothing to argue if it goes wrong because he's being backed, unless we don't get a striker, basically. I honestly think we have got a manager there that can get something out of those players, get the respect of the players, and get it playing properly and actually start taking us up the levels. But obviously, he's got to get the right players in. If we don't get a striker now or whatever, and that, can you blame him that we don't score goals? But his job is to make that team full. I think De Zerbi can do it. I do really like the manager.
Can I just address this with Ryan? Yes, I did love Ange. He won us a trophy, and I was happy for us to win a trophy. You backed Frank with all your might, and you were wrong. So, I mean, what can I say? I obviously got better tasting managers than you, Ryan. That's all I can say about that one, isn't it? I say the manager wants him, then I give that player a chance. That's right. You've got to give them a chance, and they've got to prove it. And De Zerbi, the weight's on De Zerbi's shoulders, right? Because he's the one who ultimately gets the say. So I think that we have to trust in him. I'm with Dan. I see something in De Zerbi that is quite special. The way we play football, the way that he is, I think he can bring us together. I think we can get back behind the team, and I think that there's something brewing. I do think there's something brewing with him. I've got that. I didn't get that with Ange. I didn't get that vibe with Ange, but I do with him. But as much as I do love
backed. You
that's
can't
right.
say the man ain't getting backed.
100%.
He's going to have no excuses. If we get now a striker and a left winger, he has got not a leg to stand on if this goes wrong.
Yep, I completely agree.
I think he gets a bad press in England as well because they always focus on his fiery temperament, right? But where I've seen loads and loads of videos of him where he's been at other clubs, especially Shakhtar Donetsk, and the players literally are crying because he's leaving, literally. And he's a really good man manager. We've seen that at Spurs. The way he was talking, I loved it. The way he got everybody on side. We don't want crybabies here, right? We're here to do a job, right? You've got to stick with me, right? No bloody crying. Oh, we lost the game. Get on with it, yeah. And I think his man management is good. And when people say that he hasn't done a lot in football, right? So he went to Brighton, got them their first European spot, right? That's no mean feat for a club as small as Brighton, right? And they scout really well. And it was a lot of the time he took over a Graham Potter team that was very good and he made them better, right? And then he went to Marseille and he had them top of the league for a good number of weeks, right? So he has achieved things in football and he identifies players really, really well, the type of players that fit his system. So I'm really excited to see what he's doing, what he can do at Spurs. But he does need more help. Like you said, Dan, he needs a striker that can put the ball in the back of the net. And we need other players around that striker that can create for him. And that's why I said about the creative number 10, because I don't think we can rely on Maddison, especially with his injury that he's had, right? And he's broken down before he's had this major injury. Yes, he's going to break down. We need the goal scoring midfielder and we need two wingers who can chip in with a lot of goals.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like Adrian said, you need 86 goals minimum to win a league. We've got nowhere near that, have
But
we?
we just about had enough goal. We just had about enough goals to stay in the bloody Premier League.
Yeah,
And
we're
we
bloody
also,
lucky.
Ellie, had a terrible defence.
Yeah,
Name for name, it was a good defence, but defending it was crap. The
we're
whole team, there
lucky.
was just no chemistry in it whatsoever. There was no link up in that team whatsoever.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about we were close to relegation when Postecoglou. We were 13 points clear or 15 points clear, one of the two, right? And this season, we're lucky that three other teams have been shittier than us. Really, they are, especially Wolves and Burnley, right?
For 2 years on the trot now, Ellie. For 2 years on the trot.
I know, but West Ham were fighting, right? But they just didn't have enough. We're lucky. We're lucky that Bowen went off the boil a bit as well, and he worked scoring.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Mark here. Big up to Cookie again. Still lots to do at Spurs, 100%. And then on that note,
Yeah.
I am going to leave it because we have been streaming for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Which, do you know what? It flies by with
Yeah,
with
does.
people that you can just chat with. It's really funny because you just chat and
Yeah.
chat and chat. Go
Can
on,
I say
Dan.
something quick?
Yeah, go on.
I've been doing something very dangerous just lately. My wife said it was dangerous anyway. Thinking can be very dangerous for a bloke, especially a Spurs fan.
Definitely.
I'm either going to do a show tonight or tomorrow night, and I would really appreciate it if some people actually watch this show because I'm going to do something extremely dangerous, which I could
Right.
get in a lot of trouble for and just get absolutely slated for the rest of my life as a Spurs fan. I am going to do a show and justify Daniel Levy's 20 years at Spurs.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, get over to the Hotspur Hood if you want to get that, because that is going to be an explosive show because a lot of people will vehemently disagree with you, Dan. I'm pretty
Just
sure.
me.
So.
I'm not going to, I don't want no one else on there.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
don't want no
cool.
one else to talk to.
But I mean, in the chat, I think a lot of people will disagree.
Chat can say what they want. In that aspect, fair play. It's going to be about an hour and a half long. And who says I'm going to be right or wrong? Some people agree, a lot more disagree. I'm going to do a show of an hour and a half long, roughly. Tonight, I've got to try and avoid the big shows, basically, as you have to do. And I'm going to give 20 years to justify Daniel Levy. Not Enoch, even though he is a bit part of it, but to justify Daniel Levy
Doke.
of 20 years.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
It'd be interesting to see it.
everybody, please make sure you go over to Dan at the Hotspur Hood. If one of the mods who's in here, I made Ben a mod and Jules a mod. If one of you can put in the link for Dan, to make sure you go over there, subscribe to him, and definitely give that a watch, because I think that's going to be a very, very interesting watch. Dan is a very fair person. I will say that. With everything he does, he's very fair. He'll always look at both sides of things, and then maybe like come to a conclusion. So I think that's probably where you're aiming at, right, Dan? You're just going to justify it, give reasonings, and see what the conclusion of that is.
I think you two, right? I really like you two because you're very similar in character and you're very similar in logic and being fair. That's why I think you do clash occasionally, but it's usually over a player or whatever. But you're very logical people, and I like that, right?
Thanks.
And you're fair as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Beth means by what she said is that it was about 1 o'clock in the morning and we just could not get to sleep. It was just sweating. And I show Beth quite a few football shows these days. She actually understands football now, but she actually understands the revenue side as well, because that's what I was explaining to her. And I said to her, I want to do a show. And I basically done the show to Beth and basically spoke to her for an hour and a half of what I was going to say, to see if I could get someone who really hasn't got a clue at the time about revenue and how it works at Spurs, to see if I could make her understand it and the whole picture of Spurs, of what we are. And by the end of it, she did actually understand it. So yes, so tonight, if there's no big shows on, or tomorrow, if there's no big shows on, around about 7, 8 o'clock, I'm going to do it. Like I said, I'm going to do a show to justify 20 years of Daniel Levy at Spurs.
So Dan, to get this right, you use Beth as your guinea pig.
Poor Beth.
I wouldn't go that far.
She had to listen to you for an hour and a half.
Yes, she did, and she's done an excellent job, because she is an excellent wife.
She is an excellent wife, and she's also carrying that baby and having to listen to Dan while sweating hot. Poor girl. That's what I can say to her. You know what I mean?
She's a very beautiful lady as well.
Indeed she is.
She is very beautiful.
Yeah.
100% inside and out.
And out, yeah. I love my little chat I had with her.
Do you know what?
Well.
A quick opinion on it. I mean, we're having a bit of I wouldn't say no confrontation, but we're having the last thing I'll say, Mia, because I know you want to end in it. We're having a bit of a chat about the boy's name. It's going to be a little boy. I'm more into the name. I'm giving it her call, because it's her first child. I've already had a daughter and had the right to name my child, yeah? But we are having a bit of a... She knows I want one name. I know she wants another. I want Harry.
A bit of a ding dong.
No, it's not even. It's not even that. I want Harry. She just loves the name Vinny.
Ah.
I'm sort. I can.
Vinny Sandways or Harry Kane.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's sort of like we're having a bit of a discussion about it. So it's just something we're going to come to a conclusion on.
You know what
it was
I
just
do?
Something amusing I wanted to say, because I knew she was on it.
This is what I do, because I've got 3 daughters, right? That's 3 times the trouble that you've got, right? So when we want to pick a destination or a name for a baby, because my daughter Sophia's pregnant at the moment. And
you didn't tell me that, Ellie. Oh my
God.
God.
Sorry. I did mention it on the show yesterday, I think, or the day before, and I was getting a lot of contradiction, because you're not in many WhatsApp groups either.
No.
Yeah, so what we did, my daughter Sophia, she wanted to call the baby Ellie after me, but my real name is not Ellie, so I don't mind. So we put it all in a hat, and Ellie won.
Because obviously
there's a girl. She's going to do a gender reveal though on the 15th of July.
Oh my God!
So if it's a girl, yeah.
So the thing is, we obviously normally name after grandparents, right? So
yeah,
will they name it after your husband if it's a boy?
See, he's got a really weird name, my husband. He's named Jessios, but we call him. He calls himself Theo.
Theo,
but we were calling him Theos, but he said, I don't like Theos anymore. I want to be called Theo. Because Theo is uncle in Greek, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Put the names in a hat and pick one out, and whoever wins, wins.
Yeah. With my boys, I liked Jacob, but I got vetoed on that. So we ended up with Jake, and then Alexander I liked when we had Jake. So I liked Alexander, so that was easy for us. We
I
just said
like that name.
Alexander. Yeah, good strong
Alexander's
Greek
great,
name,
isn't
as my
it?
mum said.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mum loved
It's
that.
like my daughter. I called my daughter Georgina because for some strange
Oh,
reason I like sort of. How do you describe this? I sort of like
a
almost
lovely
like
name.
boyish sort of names for girls, if you get what I mean. What's the word for it? I don't know how to describe it as
Like
such.
with a boy's name, but it's turned into a girl's name. Yeah,
Yeah, for some reason I do like those sort of names for girls. Bit of a tomboy name for girls. I don't know
yeah.
why. I always wanted to call her George, but Georgina as such. Names like that as such. I've always
Yeah.
liked them.
See, my Joanna, she was born on St David's Day, so I called her Joanna Georgina, right? And most Greek people, we don't put second names in, but I
No,
did. Yeah. And
This poor
Angela,
boy will probably have
I was
5
going to
names.
call Angela Sophia, my first child, because I always loved Sophia Loren, the actress, because my dad was fixated with her and I used to watch all her films because she's such a beautiful lady. Obviously, my dad was watching her for a different reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I called her because I wanted her to be called Sophia Loren, right? Like Lauren, yeah. But my husband, he went and registered as my name, but with Angela, because I said, right, I wanted to call her after my mum, right? When my mum came into the delivery room and held my hand, I said, I'm going to call the baby after you, mum. And then my husband put my second name, which is Aglaia. And I thought, what'd you do that for? I didn't want my name in my daughter's name. Oh,
that's men
I
for you.
just think it's an old-fashioned Greek name.
Yeah.
Some people say they like it, but I don't. I prefer Ellie.
So my mum's named after St. Lucas because of her birthday being on the day of St. Lucas. So that's why she got
Okay.
named. That's where her name's come from. So
Lugia. Is it
yeah.
Lugia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, with names, but yeah, we do tend to.
Yeah.
I did get no. I was going to be called Gulla, but my mum, because she thought she couldn't have
Lucky for
children,
you.
she called me different. So yeah, that's why I
Maria.
got Maria, which I don't particularly like.
I love the
Not
name
not a
Maria.
fan. Not a fan. There's too many songs with Maria in them, and it just gets sung at you all the time, and it's really annoying and
My
boring.
mum's sister's Maria, but they used to call her Mary to sound more English.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not bad luck in Greek culture. You've got we name them after grandparents, as in like a
Yeah.
respect thing,
It's a
and
respect thing,
but
yeah.
the problem you've got is when you've got like my mum's one of 8. You get lots of children. The firstborn boy with the same name, which is always a bit of a
Yeah.
problem because you've got all of those people,
Luca.
all the people called the same, and that's obviously a problem. So yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Good old funny Greek
Yeah.
culture.
That's why when you watch my big fat Greek wedding, when they go, Nick,
Nick, Nick,
Nicky.
Nicky, yeah, that's it. Thanks, Danny. No problem. I don't like the name Danny either.
No.
So
I've always loved the name Daniel for a boy, and I've always liked the name Harry. So I'll get your
Yeah,
point there. I love
I've
the
always
name
liked
Harry.
Harry, and that's not. It's
Yeah,
not a Harry Kane thing. It's got jack shit to do with Harry Kane. Whatever. It's just a name I've always liked for a boy as such. I think it's a good name
yeah,
person.
I like
yeah.
Harry.
Good choice.
Well, anyway, on that note, now you know about us and our baby names that we chose and we like. I am going to leave it there. We shall speak very soon, I'm sure. Make sure you are making sure you are hitting that like button on your way out. Take very, very good care of yourselves, and we shall speak again real soon.